Simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty
Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka. Tumeomoka na madozi. Bura nimeomoka. Spendi ustenge. Utambila wama.
Yeah.
Lawama simi.
When you chase women, you lose money. When you chase money, you gain women.
Good. Chase that money, man. Say.
Lawama simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka. Tumeomoka na madozi. Bura nimeomoka. Spendi ustenge. Utambila wama.
Yeah.
Lawama simi.
When you chase women, you lose money. When you chase money, you gain women.
Good. Chase that money, man. Say.
Lawama simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka. Tumeomoka na madozi. Bura nimeomoka. Spendi ustenge. Utambila wama.
Yeah.
Lawama simi.
When you chase women, you lose money. When you chase money, you gain women.
Good. Chase that money, man. Say.
Lawama simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka. Tumeomoka na madozi. Bura nimeomoka. Spendi ustenge. Utambila wama.
Yeah.
Lawama simi.
When you chase women, you lose money. When you chase money, you gain women.
Good. Chase that money, man. Say.
Lawama simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka. Tumeomoka na madozi. Bura nimeomoka. Spendi ustenge. Utambila wama.
Yeah.
Lawama simi.
When you chase women, you lose money. When you chase money, you gain women.
Good. Chase that money, man. Say.
Lawama simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka. Tumeomoka na madozi. Bura nimeomoka. Spendi ustenge. Utambila wama.
Yeah.
Lawama simi.
When you chase women, you lose money. When you chase money, you gain women.
Good. Chase that money, man. Say.
Lawama simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka. Tumeomoka na madozi. Bura nimeomoka. Spendi ustenge. Utambila wama.
Yeah.
Lawama simi.
When you chase women, you lose money. When you chase money, you gain women.
Good. Chase that money, man. Say.
Lawama simita.
Yeah. Big bad ogre.
Score Zik. Score Jeshi, call me Rex Olunga. Nasty Brown. Omoka.
Yo. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live. Manisikia vizuri? Can you hear me from the other side? One kwa chat kama unanisikia. One kwa chat kama unanisikia. One kwa chat kama unanisikia na microphone inafanya vizuri sana. One kwa chat kama unanipata vizuri na microphone inafanya unanisikia poa. Spam one kwa chat, bro. Spam one in the chat if you can hear me, bro. We're about to go in. Itakuwa very good live. Yo. Yeah, najisikia. Microphone iko sawa. How you guys been? Mmekuaje? How's your day been? Wengine wenye mwenye mlioshwa magari, mmeanza kufuatilia kwa insurance. Wengine nyenye wenye maji lingia kwa nyumba. Mumeanza kusafisha vitu za nyumba bro? Mumeanza kurikavaje bro? Kuna mtu unajua, close relative, close friend, close neighbor, pengine opo wako ulimuombea mabaya siku mingi, finally mvua imeenda kamuosha, sairo yake imekuwa safi kidogo. Kumeenda aje na historia ya mvua? I need to know before tuingie kwa live. Kila mtu amekaribishwa kwa live. Naona tuko watu 5 lakini likes ni 3. Naona goal ni kufikisha 300 likes. Hello. We good. Tuko watu ngapi? Sawa. Kama kawa si mnajua lazima tuanzage kwanza kwa vyombo za habari. Nimewakaribisha wote, nimewakaribisha nyote kwenye show hili letu la leo. Ni Jumamoja. Kwa show letu leo la Jumamoja, karibuni sana wote mliokaribishika. Utaribagaza. Itakuwa liet. Itakuwa moto. Aya, niaje mzae. Mawaristic, finally. Finally umepatikana live leo. God damn. Ni sherehe kubwa sana. Umepatikana live leo. God damn. Najua kacha nifanye kitu fulani kwanza hapa. Reduce the CI. Hadi hapo. Afunieke hapa juu yangu. Ama nirudishe huko chini. Ama niache hapo juu. Niaje mawaristic. Rada gani. Haya. Without further ado, because we have doing the fathers. No, I mean we have been doing the mothers. Without a mother ado, I would love to take us all the way. Wapi all the way? Kwa vyombo vya habari. Sasa nataka kumake sure ni maput up to date. Sitaki mtu yote analalisha ati ujui nini endelea, the state of the country, the state of the union, aujui. Amko hapa hivi kuachanua. Lakini leo niko na interesting show. Niko na documentary kama 2 hivi nataka kuonesha, but before tuna documentary, Sakaja kumbe alikuwa na interview na Jeff Koinange. Sikuiwatch. Sikuona kama umeclip vitu, but kuna clip moja niliona ule dema anafanya na Jeff Koinange, alikuwa amejaa ngori sana, alikuwa amekasirika yake yote. Tunaingia kwa hiyo. Kwa sasa kwanza cha tusikie situation ya maji imefika wapi. Enjoy.
Nairobi siku ya Ijumaa na kusababisha vifo na uharibifu wa mali hasa magari. Sasa macho na masikio yamehamia katika gereji ya makarakana za magari. Wamiliki wengi wa magari yaliyosombwa na maji sasa wanakabiliana na kibarua kigumu cha bima, huku hofu kuu ikiwa ni iwapo watasaidiwa kukadiria gharama ya kukarabati magari yao. Mwanahabari wetu Sylvia Kathoni.
So najua atakaribia magharama ya magari zao. Hapo ni kujipanga dada. This is Kenya, this is Nairobi. Hawatasaidika kamwe.
Yuko upande wa Grogon akizungumza na waathiriwa katika gereji mbalimbali, na sasa tuungane naye mubashara atuchoree taswira kamili. Sylvia Kathoni, hebu tueleze uliozungumza nao wanasema nini baada ya mvua hiyo kubwa ya Ijumaa iliyowaathiri?
Kwa yote I think na feel nimeumia sana kulingana na hii flood ambayo imetokea, because in terms of kwa hasara na kadiria hasara ya 67.2 million, na ndio
mama na mdema na smile tu hapa tu. Kijana amegaramika 67. Can you imagine? You invested in cars bro. 67.2 million. Na dema na smile tu. Fear women.
Najaribu kusalvage kenye tunaweza, na ndio unaona tumejaribu kuita vijana wakuja watusaidie kurescue kenye tutaweza, but most of them tumeshindwa kurescue cause nyingi ziligonganishwa na maji, cause maji ilikuwa inakuja na force sana. Yeah.
Na
but maji inakonga dangerous. Nimekuja ku notice maji si kitu ya kuchezea. Like saa zingine tunadharau wingi maji, but maji ni ngori. Maji ni noma.
Unaweza taka serikali ifanye jambo lipi kukusaidia wewe?
Kama mimi ninge request kama mmoja wana biashara hapa Grogon, ninge request wange tutengenezea drainage because hata wewe venye unaona the whole Grogon haina drainage, then tuko na mtoni the other side.
Na swali yangu ni moja, na wenye walijengezwa manyumba hapo hivyo, mbona tu waliachezo nyumba zijengwe hapo hivyo bila drainage? Who was the quantity surveyor of that area? How about the engineer of that area? I know alipewa pesa yake akakula pesa yake, but siena anafaa kwa ameshughulika hiyo kitu sana. Okay, poleni. County government pia before ipeane hiyo lease ama ipeane hiyo ruhusa ya ujenzi anze hapo. So ungekuwa pia make sure ameelezea watu drainage iko hapa na hapa. Pole sana brother. Hiyo ni hasara nyingine kubwa sana.
Mtoni yenyewe ukiangalia kuna gorofa walijenga pale, walijenga mahali maji inapita. Sasa ndio imezuia ile maji baada ya kupitia kwa ile mtoni inachukua hii mkondo. Ningeambia serikali wanaweza angalia kati wajue kulienda aje gorofa ikajengwa juu ya mto na ndio inafanya maji inaingia huko. Yeah.
Asante sana Wakesho.
Hello baby. Let's get a word from our sponsors of the day. This video, this live is proudly sponsored you by Goja. Live huu imeletwa kwenyu na Opande Poda. Unasikia ni kama uko na stress? Opande Poda. Unasikia ni kama sugar level zako zimepanda? Opande Poda. Unasikia ni kama unaweza kuwa mlevi ama usikue mlevi ama uko mlevi hata kushinda watu walevi mwenye unabaki umelemewa hadi maini nasikia ni naanguka? Opande Poda. And this is brought to you by Opande Poda. Did you see that the one who introduced us to Opande Poda say anapeana nini? Anapeana anointing oil na anointing. Imagine unaenda kanisa unateseka, unaumia, umeenda kuomba, unaenda kwa kanisa unapata nani ndo amekuja pale hivyo mbele kwa chapel. Marion. Wewe unaenda tia anointing oil. Nishapigia story yangu na anointing oil. The one day nilijuanga niko possessed when I was young. Hiyo story ndo apigia siku nyingine, si leo. Lakini ilikuwa noma bro. Unanipata? Ilikuwa noma sana. Hiyo siku ilikuwa nikiwa kole. Sawa, nikiwa college pale Kiambu Institute. So day kuna mama akakuja anasema anaombea watu. Yani ilikuwa noma bro. Akakuja akapiga maombi zake. But for some reason shetani anakuaga tu anakufuataga. Ukiamua unataka kufuata nyota yako ya baraka. You feel me? Sasa mimi nikatoka hapo hivyo nikaenda na hiyo anointing oil nikaangia tu kachupa tu kiasi size yake. Kumbe kuna kamdem nilikuwa na kati ya gezo maeria. Unanipata alikuwa anaitwa Dola, alikuwa anaitwa Dolari. Safi, sasa mimi na Dolari tukalinki. Unapata? Barabum tukasikizana ni aje tuende kwa ofisi ya sports. Hizo day bado nilikuwa minister wa sports. Tukaingia pale hivyo ndani ya ofisi. Nini shughulika kuwa buda. Alikuwa dry usiku hata juu ni aje alikuwa dry. Mimi niko na ni aje sasa hakuna lube. Na niko na anointing oil hapa. Raba sababu rabusa karawa. Sebede baki nimepaka anointing oil kwa njwanga kama lube and it's the best. It's the best. Like kwa pesa kula na your designer. Dola mali uko sasa inajua amebarikiwa.
Si Sam peke yake. Ukitazama katika mtaa huu kuna madhara mengi sana ya mvua ya Ijumaa. Magari haya yote kama vile nilikuwa nimekujuza ni magari ambayo yaliweza kubebwa na maji. Ukitazama upande huo bado maji yapo, maji ni mengi, wanajaribu kutoa maji na michanga.
Thank you Tiwana Loves. Thank you for the support, thank you for the love. Get back to work. Rudi kazi, get back to work. Haya, we continue.
Kwenye engine za magari. Kwa hivyo hasara ni mingi sana katika upande huu, lakini kwa sasa tupo hapa mimi na Chris Omulando na tutaendelea kukujuza iwapo kuna mengi yataendelea kutokea. Asante sana Wakesho. Ni hayo tu kwa sasa.
Oh Lord, look at this man. Tukwe tu si. Cheki hadi fadhi hapa hivi anacheki. Na hii ni kwa Kamenje. Sasa imagine ukikata hiyo nini amwambie madam ni aje. Una report fiti, unaitwaje afu na chikini yellow. Mali yelo. Ukijana hizi focus. Hata ningekuwa hapo Grogon ningechoma. Mimi najijua mimi ningechoma mbaya. Cause napenda gama baadi. Afu kuzidisha kona kazi ya kuripoti. Buimaji unamkula alafu unamwambia jifanye niko na una ripoti kesi ya kupigwa njwanga fiti. Kuja na wewe habari moja kwa moja. Big bad ya kwamba ngori.
Kwako studio.
Naam, asante sana. Bila shaka mtazamaji, huyo ni mwanahabari mwenza kazi kuntu kabisa, yuko katika ile
kati ya wili unakula nani? Tuambie ni kweli, kati ya wili ukiwa rate 1 out of 10. Huyu wa huku blue ni 1. Una prefer number 1 hapa number 2? Number 1 ama number 2? Spam kwa chat nione mnataka number 1 ama number 2. Spam kwa chat nione mnataka number 1 ama number 2. Mimi already mshajua namba nimesema 1.5. Birimanga. Ngoje acha niweke full screen, poleni. 1 ama 2, 1 kwa 2, 1 ama 2 kwa chat. Mimi naenda na 1 hapa katikati. Niza taka wote at the same time. Nikigeuka undo sasa naenda naye nje. Unachikiuka kiuri undo napeleka date. Undo mnaniona naye kila mahali, kila saa. Unapata wa sponsorship kidogo nikitaka event ya corporate. Nienda muingiza box namwambia baby tuonekane hapa hivi kwa news, lakini huyu nipatieni, give me this. Sawa. Now that was the first video. In case you guys do not know, do not understand, you have not been living in Kenya, we have a situation right now where, acha nisiongee nyingi, NTSA and the government of Kenya imeingiza certain rules concerning traffic rules, regulations. But mimi naongea kama nani? Cha muonesho na watakili, watu wanaelewa mboka hiyo yao. Talk to us, brother man.
And this is business at one, and we start with roadside negotiations and manual traffic, which stops, and it stops today. Because today the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, officially went live with its instant fines traffic management system. The system is backed by a 42 billion public-private partnership. The authority...
With who? Private, with who?
Is backed by a 42 billion public-private partnership.
Partnership with who? We would love to know. Is it China? Because if it's China, chances are...
The authority has activated a network of 1,000 smart cameras designed to detect 37 different traffic violations in real time.
Have they given us the name of the 37 traffic offenses?
This is after a strict directive from President William Ruto to eliminate the human element of bribery. The system now automatically bills registered vehicle owners via SMS with a 7-day payment ultimatum before interest begins to accrue.
Oh, okay. They'll send you an SMS because you have to register your name and your number kwa NTSA. So ile namba umeka NTSA ndo, I'm guessing, itakuwa namba yako. Right? Yeah, by the way, yeah, I think that's the case.
So those are just what you're seeing right there is the new...
Now, niko na swali. Let's say the question is, let's say you lend someone a car. Is it lending? Ama you help someone with their car and then they go and they break the traffic rules or whatever, and then the message comes to your phone but you have no idea. You see like a fine of, let's say, to 5k, 10k, ama I don't know how watakuwa kicharge. Unajua sijui inalipishwa aje. Are you still gonna pay the money? Ama you gonna ask whoever ulimsaidia gari yako alipe hiyo kitu?
E-system to bill you in case of traffic offense. And the list of the offenses include, speeding, overspeeding, driving without...
And our partners. Partners, NTSA, KCP Bank Group, and Pesa Print. All right.
Include, speeding, overspeeding, driving without a safety belt, and...
speeding, lane violation, driving on pavements, not wearing seatbelts and more.
Driving on pavements and not wearing safety belts. And for the safety belts and on pavements, there is an AI-powered thing on this smart...
Hey, you see? This looks good, this looks smart, but once AI is starting to get involved in our private, in our private dealings, for example, in the privacy of our phone, Buddha, it's not such a good thing when you're nadhani. Okay? At first itaka kitu innocent because by the buda hisi ni kusaidia 20 say unajua we have to be smart, unajua we cannot break the rules bro. Hatuwezi break to the rules. Lazima to make sure to keep everyone in check. Itakuwa inasaidia accidents, itakuwa inasaidia regulations, itakuwa inasaidia at least madereva endeshe tu viholela. Unanipata? But in reality hii AI itakuwa pengine inachukua certain informations about whatever unafanya. Kwanza number 1 inaweza kuwa ni location, number 2 ni data analysis, number 3 yani itakuwa tu inajua vitu unafanya privately. Anyway, next thing utapata NTSA already watakuwa connected na Safaricom. Unanipata? Unakatwa pesa tabila kujua. Juu kitu inafanyikaga China. Anyway,
systems to be able to detect you without a belt or you using your phone. The fines are what you are looking at right there. That is NTSA.
So Uber drivers, you gotta get smart with the whatever. Uber drivers mnafahamu kwa smart with your dealings. Tafadhali, usitoe tu simu hadharani. Utapigwa fine moja ya bure. Kura up buru kanga.
Every day, people juggle so many different tools just to get work done. A simple task turns into a time-consuming mess because work sprawl.
I cannot believe mnaona hii kitu imekata kuskip. The fuck? We do it live.
To transport matters where the National Transport and Safety Authority has announced the activation of the instant fine management system to deal with those violating traffic rules. In a public notice issued on Monday morning, the authority says the system will automatically issue traffic violation notification via SMS to motorists who violate traffic rules. NTSA adds that the system is fully automated and fines issued through it can be paid through KCB within 7 days. For motorists,
can be paid only through KCB. I'm guessing KCB ndio wananunulia hizo gadgets and the cameras and everything. Ndio maana wamepata in partnership ya kutunyanyasa so that we can promote their bank. I'm also thinking maybe they have certain other dealings. And I'm thinking government iko na dealings zingine extra za kanda zinatujui na KCB.
Who fail to settle their fines within the 7-day period, the repercussions will include your fine attracting an interest and not being able to use NTSA service platforms until the fine.
You see? Told you. If you have not cleared the fine, inaanza kugain interest. Hata jambo interest ya pesa ngapi? Ama kuna kitu
is settled. The notice did not specify the traffic offences and their resultant files. Further details will be communicated through official government channels.
Na hizi systems za kuaga hacked kila siku. Did you see the other day? Wali hack your shit. Wanashinaga wamehack hizi vitu. Can we really trust this system, bro? Can we?
I'm Hezron Kimari.
Now on to the roads. The National Transport and Safety Authority has announced that the instant fines traffic management system is now operational.
Cheno ambie, unachiki kijana venye wanaongeaga hivi, now is coming operational. Anapenda kurombosi wa klabu sana.
Now on to the roads. The National Transport.
Afu wana dance gifani fani hivi. Wanajua gima stingo za kudance lakini uko kuta klabu. Unaonaga hivi sio suti ya iko hapo hivyo. Hata hizo machone zinakaa imbo. Ametoa na turombosi watu na tudem petit. Petit mbaya sana. Sasa muone hapa hivi kwa ofisi anajifanya venye yako professional. Buda tunakujua. Sema ni leak jina yako na images sahi.
Transport and Safety Authority has announced that the instant fines traffic management system is now operational, marking a significant shift in how traffic violations are enforced in the country. In a notice issued on Monday, the authorities say the system will automatically send traffic violation notifications via SMS to motorists found to have breached road regulations. The messages will indicate the nature of the offense and the amount of the fine payable. NTSA says the new system is aimed at improving transparency and efficiency in traffic enforcement by reducing manual processes.
Alright, that was fun. Now we understand. Sasa ukiona dere baadhi ya shule zinalazimika kufungwa juu ya mafuriko. Mama. Kwani wapole. Show bado. Tunaanza tu anytime sahi. Haya tusikia mwisho 8:30 tuanze story ya Sakaja kiasi, sawa?
Hi guys.
8:30. Tusikie story ya Sakaja, acha tuone story ya shule kwanza.
Taarifa zetu na hii kutokana na athari za mafuriko yaliyoshuhudiwa wiki jana, baadhi ya shule zimelazimika kufungwa huku baadhi zilizoamua kuendelea masomo licha ya athari. Masomo hayakuanza kwa urahisi. Yalianza kwa kuanika vitabu.
Aikosi alikuwa teacher wa maths. Wanakuanga na kirere vibaya sana. Sijui analipwaga mingi kushinda kila mtu. Teacher wa maths alisema yeye lazima afundishe. Heri akae asimame juu ya boat, lakini lesson yake lazima kwa sababu syllabus iko karibu, niko mbali and they have to keep up with the syllabus. So they have to teach. Ataka watu wana drown. Utasikia wewe ukisikia kulala ingiza tu maji ndani ya, ingiza kichwa ndani ya maji, breathe out, utakuwa awake. Ukisikia ni kama joto pia imezidi, jimwagilie maji, lakini lesson lazima iishe. Ama teacher ananiboingi sana. Kushota chance ongea kitu kwanza.
Abu kwenye jua na wanafunzi na wa madarasa tofauti kujumuishwa kutokana na maji mengi yaliyofurika madarasani. Susan Waweru sasa anatufungulia taarifa zetu.
Matope na maji madarasani na vitabu vilivyoloa maji. Ndiyo hali halisi katika baadhi ya shule. Siku ya Jumatatu, ikiwa ni siku ya kwanza ya wanafunzi kurejea baada ya mafuriko, haikuanza kama kawaida. Katika shule ya msingi ya Mathare Kaskazini,
and you know the worst part? Some parents had to buy the books. Kuna vile lazima mngenunua vitabu ndo mwingie shule, only for the vitabu kumwagiwa na maji. Alafu unajua walimu na shule haitajali, itasema lazima tuendelee kufunza. Wazazi mjaribu tena mnunulie watoto tena vitabu. Bookshop asitataka kujua kama ajali ilikuwa majali kukua. Joking. Isi fair.
Wanafunzi walianza kwa kuanika vitabu vyao kwenye jua, wengine wakivianika juu ya mabati ya shule. Wengine wanaonekana wakijaribu kupita kwenye matope wakitoka darasani.
The river Mathare was flooded and it broke in its bank and got into Mathare Primary School. Although it was at a low magnitude on Thursday, but the Friday one, it really made havoc to the school. It came in and got in the classes, spoiled about 1,000 books. There were 9 classes that were affected most because the silt from the river was deposited in the classes, and this is where the books were mostly affected. This is where the books were totally submerged.
Kwa walimu wa shule, leo haikuwa siku rahisi kwao.
The books that were not affected, of course, there's some...
Hawana kulwa na principal. Just can't prove it.
Levels that the water did not get to. So we were able to use that, and we wrote on the boards and the children copied. So we can say that we've tried our level best.
Lakini licha ya haya yote, mwalimu mkuu Boniface anaeleza kuwa 90% ya wanafunzi walifika shuleni ili kukata kiu ya masomo. Kwa sasa, wanafunzi wameunganishwa katika madarasa tofauti na lililosalia ni kuyasafisha madarasa. Mwalimu mkuu anatumai kuwa kesho masomo yataendelea kama kawaida, lakini analo ombi moja.
If there are well-wishers who can come in and help with those books that we have lost, especially...
Told you. How did I know? I'm thy prophet.
The supplementary books, which are used to guide runners.
I think this one would make sense. Yesterday I saw the government was donating mchele na mahindi na maragwe. Kama wamejitambua juu niko sure kuna pesa, walutezi vitabu. That would be very nice. Actually, that would be I will recommend that. I will clap for that, to be honest with you.
During the learning time.
Katika shule nyingine Nairobi mtaani Eastleigh, usafi ungali unaendelea. Shule hii ikilazimika kufungwa kwa muda ili kuhakikisha wanafunzi hawatatatizika wanapoanza kurejea shuleni rasmi. Hali inayojitokeza katika baadhi ya shule nchini huku
manzi hapa Eastleigh ni noma. Jua hizi ya chamaji hivyo na watu wamefunga. Mwanzo haja kuwa tempted akunywe.
serikali ikitarajiwa kutoa idadi kamili ya shule zilizoathirika na mafuriko ya mvua zinazoendelea nchini. Susan Waweru, NTV.
Haya, usichukue zenye hazijakauka. Shukran Susan Waweru.
Aya 101 is this moja kwa moja hadi kituo cha Citizen. Tulia kwanza Jeff Koinange. Relax bro. Relax kwanza. Haya, let's listen to this.
Emmanuel Toll mentions 43 dead, Olive, around the country. 27 in Nairobi alone. On the couch today in the House is the governor of county number 047.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you, Gov.
Good to see you
Thanks
too.
so much for your time. I know you've been busy running around, up and down.
Yeah.
Polisana for what's been going on.
But more so to those who've lost love.
Why are they crossing their legs like that? Mbona mna cross hivyo miguu? Why? Suspect.
Ones and property. It's a really sad situation, tough situation. I think pole kwao zaidi.
Yeah. Gov, in your county, do you feel a sense of responsibility for what you just talked about? The loss of life, the loss of property. Do you feel a sense of responsibility?
Of course, Jeff. In as much as a lot of this goes into decades of, issues of planning, the city really was built on a swamp, but I'm the one who's in charge now.
Yeah.
And in as much
you failed us, brother.
As the many of these roads, waterways are not even under the county government, which is why we've now come together with the national government and said, look, let's solve this. Let's not just point blame. Let's get the professionals who we have, engineers, planners, the architects, etc., to say, look, what is a lasting solution? Of course, what we costed last year was too much for the county. 25 billion. When you're running a 40 billion budget, salaries and all that, the county cannot do it on its own.
Yeah.
And that's why we need more resources. And I'm glad that now we are moving towards that. If you look at the river regeneration project, because remember, Nairobi is a city built around the rivers. Ngong River, Nairobi River, and Mathare River. If you look at the 1928 master plan of Nairobi, actually the colonialists at that time created a buffer.
Mambo mingi. Tupatie stories za 1928. You don't wanna hear that, bro. Get to the point. Acha kutafuta shimo mali utapata loophole ya kujitetea nayo.
Next to the rivers, because normally a river should be the frontage of the city, but it was hidden, and they created a green buffer zone where you have all these informal settlements, and that's why when it rains, it's not Muthaiga, it is not Karen, etc. It is Mukuru, it is Mathare, it is Kibera, it is all of those settlements. And so the work we're doing currently, for instance, if you look at the 54-kilometer trunk, sewer and the drainage works.
Yeah.
That cost 50 billion, an amount that, of course, the county could not do on its own. Is going to sort it out.
Governor, let me get to that in a moment. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yes.
I left Hot 96 at about 7:05, 7:10.
Yeah.
Got into my car. I was driving home. Friday night, It was pouring. It was pissing down with rain.
Very heavy, the heaviest rainfall in a lot.
I got home at midnight.
Yeah.
8 kilometers. I got home at midnight. People left here at 6, they got home at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible, Gov.
But we must solve it. This is not a problem that has just started.
But you know what, Gov? If you're in Japan and you're the county governor of a county in Japan, you'd have resigned.
True. But he could not resign. Kwa sababu ange resign, watu wangeona ni kama ametoroka ngori. Ushakula pesa umekimbia.
It don't solve it. It's a problem that's been there for long. I remember being stuck during the El Nino rains as a child in school. Yeah. And being marooned for hours until very late at night in 1997. Jeff, leadership is to provide solutions. Leadership is not about blaming. Leadership is not about just...
You've never provided solution hizo siku zote umekuwa hapo. We've never seen you try. Wezi tuambia ati pia wewe ulikuwa kwa hiyo nini 1997 na pia sasa tuko 2026. Bado the same problem inafanyika. No, brother. We're not gonna go with that. Unge play your part. How could play?
No. Jeff, we have to make tough decisions. The same people who cry foul when we evict those on the riparian are the same ones now making noise. Yeah. Jeff, their houses. I saw a member of parliament, an aspirant, showing First Avenue Parklands, where you've canalized the water. We must sit with those developers and say, look, something's got to give, you know. And so it's a problem of our own making. A lot of what blocks the drainage, and we've tried, you know, we've hired 4,500 Green Army who are out there and clogging every single day, but who dumps in those, drains?
I called it some time back, nikasema hata sisi we had a part to play. Pia sisi as a nation, ama as a people, we had a part to play. Kumesaidiani nini as cost hizi like hii shida ikuwe kubwa ni pia sisi kudamp vitu, but still if their system was set well in place vitu zingeenda smooth.
Who is littering in those drains? We provided bins, but you'll still see there's a responsibility that all of us must bear. But we'll sort it out once and for all. You know, we must be the generation that sorts out the problem, not remembers the problem and leaves it for somebody else.
Okay, you mentioned...
But when
Drainage, Governor.
Yes.
Drainage failed. Waterways failed.
Yeah.
I mean, what went wrong?
The drainage that we have, Jeff, is not built for this capacity of rain. And I clearly, and I think you showed it in the story before, explained the sheer amount of money that is needed, you know, to expand it to a rapidly urbanizing city. It's not money that the county on its own can be able to get. Remember also there are different categories of roads. You know, I saw flooding on top of the expressway. That is not a county road. You know, Mombasa Road is not, Jogo Road, Juja Road, Timor, you know, Mbagathi or Raila Odinga Way. But you see, we must work together. Tomorrow, for instance, I'm chairing, you know, the first meeting of the implementation committee where I have the PSs, you know, PS Roads, PS Energy, PS, you know, all relevant people to say, look, let's come together, because devolution is not a competition. It is for us to say, this is why we needed that cooperation, Jeff. And I always said it for a long time. I have said it here, I said it when I was senator, that the capital city cannot be organized just based on the share of revenue that it gets like other counties. And that's why Article 6 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act provided an opportunity for us to get additional funding. Look at 80 billion to sort out a problem. And so we must look at these solutions. And I've seen a lot of commentary out there. I've seen a lot of professionals, you know, saying we want to come and be part of this. Come, let's figure it out and let's sort it out. So next year it's going to rain again. You know, a few months later it's going to rain again. But how do we have a lasting solution, not a quick fix?
Gov, let's not forget illegal developments on riparian land.
They have to go down, Jeff. Huh? How? They have to go down.
Ameamua. He's serious about it. Hefty Turu niaji. Mark, karibuni sana. Karibuni sana. Ako serious, bro. There are so many houses naenda kubomolewa. But will that fix the situation? Yes, watabomoa hizo nyumba na tunataka wabomoe hizo nyumba, lakini swali ni moja, will that fix the situation? Si Sonko pia alibomoa hizo nyumba. I think Waitito also suggested kubomoa hizo nyumba. Did it help? Did it fix anything? Huh?
Honestly. Yeah. Those 27 lives lost, you cannot compare them to the cost of those developments. These developments, and I'll give you an example. Up on Oludume Road, there's a development, there's an estate. And last year, the year before when it flooded, I went to. And it was terrible. You know, they were complaining. They were up in arms. It had flooded their houses. And as I walked in, you know, I spoke to even some former county officials living there. And then we went around, we found that they've actually diverted Kirichwa.
Yeah. Maka amepia na comment ingine ngori sana hapa. Anasema, so they don't have the money, but they have the budget for 17 billion for State House. Okay? We all know your budget is just for campaigning. Sawa. The other day, the Treasury reported that 1.7 trillion went missing without a trace. Hii ni upuzi wanaongelea. Cause ni upuzi wanaongelea. Same thing, 11 billion zimepotea sha. Hadi saa hii bado hatujui malio pesa imeenda. Imekunywa tu maji hivyo, 11 billion. Watu wanacheza na akili zetu. Sasa anakuja hapa kutuambia upuzi wanatuambia. Shit.
Ndongo, the Kirichwa River, themselves, with their fence at the back, and I told them, look, this then needs to go down. And they're like, no, it's okay. Please don't. It's flooded in 97, it flooded, just leave it. We can't have our cake and eat it. those difficult decisions must be made, and we must do those things. And you see, now we have the organization, the framework through the cooperation to actually get these things done together.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?
I'll do it. I have to do it. I have no choice.
Gov, 48 hours ago, the flooding was all over the city.
Yeah.
You have not appeared at all on screen anywhere in 48 hours. This is the first time you're appearing on Sunday Live. This is the first time.
Jeff,
where have you been?
When such a thing happens,
where has he been? Where have you been? Niliwaambia mali alikuwa na mastrip akipiga makokena akivuta kutoka matako mdem fulani brown skin hivi. I told you. The other day I told you Malum si amekuwa. Sasa ndo anaonekana akijifanya amekasirika yake yote. Anakasirika nini?
Have to coordinate rescue. I've been with the ministry, I've been with my teams. We've been all over all the 17 sub-counties. And sometimes
Sink where
when I myself appear when there's a rescue, the focus shifts. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not somebody to. Why would I make it more difficult for those officers who are working? And they're doing a good job, and there are many of them. Jeff, if you ask the Minister of Public Service, if you ask the NDOC, we've been on constant communication. My teams, yesterday we met with the Kura people, the Urban Roads Authority, the Kenha, National Highways Authority. And in such a situation, you need to think about the people affected. How do you respond to them instead of just looking for optics and PR? It will be very easy to just wear gumboots and walk around and look busy, yet taking away focus on what is actually being done or what needs to be done.
All right. Yeah. But Red Cross has been doing a really good job.
We're working with them. And our teams, the 4,500 have been out there, our disaster teams, etc. We're working with Dr. Idris from Red Cross, the emergency rescue.
We lost someone by the way. Kuna mtu wa Red Cross tulimpoteza the other day. Alisink, alipigwa shock. Ndani ya maji akienda kusave mtoto fulani, So reveal claim watu wawili.
Our numbers are out there. We've actually issued them. And Jeff, let me tell you, if we hadn't moved those who were on Nairobi River and Ngong River last year, the numbers would have been far worse. It would have been crazy.
Really?
Yes. And that's why we're insisting on that 60-meter riparian. A lot of it has been done. People are asking, why have you done it only on the lower level? Kileleshwa, Lavington, all the way up. We're coming. We have to do it, And so we've been doing what's needed to be done, Jeff. But it's all.
But who did they buy the land from? It's okay, but ilifikaji yo land wakapata. How did they come up to acquire the land? See, I think the county and the government have a say in that, because you cannot just start building anything anywhere. So right now you give them the permission to build, they build, ngori inafanyika, tena pesa yao ashatumia, ashalipa kinywa amelipa kwa government, unataka kuja tena ubomoe hizo nyumba.
It's not something that you can just, and of course I know in such a situation it's natural to look for a scapegoat of someone to blame, and I'll take that.
You are the scapegoat.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you, Tiwana. Thank you so much.
And it's okay, Jeff, because I'm in charge. Yeah. So in as much as some of them are in the purview of national government, I'll bring them together. I'll bring everyone together. And that's what we've been doing. That's why I've been chasing that agreement for the last 3 years. Because the city can't do it on its own.
Gov, I'm going to take a break, come back, talk some more. But that agreement, that ties your hands.
No.
This is like the old NMS.
No.
Under general body.
Which situation?
It's NMS 2.
No. Jeff, first of all,
hold on. Hold that thought.
It's a law.
Hold that thought. Governor Bay is in the house.
Governor Bay anapimwa na anajuona vamebla.
Sakaja Johnson, my friend.
Yeah.
You're in trouble, man.
We have to get it done.
You're underwater. You're under siege.
I mean, you can say anything. You're very nice with phrases, but
I'm the phrase guy.
We must get what needs to be done. We must make painful decisions, and everybody must do their part.
Everybody must do their bit.
Yeah.
Governor Johnson, Sakaja Johnson, is in the house. He's taking your questions and comments at Koinange Jeff. Olive. At Olive.
You're the part 1. Sakaja is trying to play manipulative game na sisi. He's trying to manipulate us by acting ati ni kama kasirika. Bro, bado jakasirika. We una hasira. Bado.
Governor Sakaja Johnson from county number 047, the last 72 hours, we'll say, have been crazy. Rain, flooding, drainage, sewage, whatever it is you want to call it. This man is in charge, and he says he's taking responsibility.
Yes.
He's standing up to it.
I have to, Jeff.
Because you're in charge.
I chose to take this job.
Yeah.
Knowing very well, as you know, being the senator for 5 years, the daunting task that is ahead of us.
And Governor?
And that's why I kept saying, and I keep saying, that you must have a collaborative effort for the city. There's no other formula, Jeff, I promise you. If you just look at the sheer resources required, and even to enforce, there's no way you can do it any other way. Let me tell you, Jeff, look at the day before, areas severely affected. Uhuru Highway, Westlands Roundabout, TRM, Mbagathi Way, Mombasa.
Pona in the full screen.
Road, South Sea, Thika Super Highway, Enterprise Road, Langata Road, Jogo Road, Lunga Lunga. If I decide to say, oh, those are roads under Kura and Kenha, and I do nothing about it, then who provides leadership? Yes, those roads are not under the county, but the county has leadership. You know, the budget for those roads, for their storm drains, for their expansion, to make sure they're unclogged. They even contractors who are on performance contracts are not with us as a county.
But the buck stops with you.
You see, it's a national.
Yes, the buck stops with you, bro. I don't know why kitu endi full screen. You have to bear with me, man. Kitu chill. Nikifinya itatoka live ama itatoka nini?
Function, which is why I say, and I keep saying, that even we now have, Jeff, now I'm the only governor who can sit down with these guys and say, look, how much have you put into this road? And I'll give you an example. Last year, Ojijo Road, you know Ojijo Road down there,
very well.
Really flooded. Yeah. And the problem was that Ojijo Road has a 1.2 meter drain that drains into a 0.6 meter drain on Kipande Road. I went there, I looked at it. How was it fixed? I had to get Kenha, because it is their road, to fix it. It's not the county that intervened. And this time, the flooding was minimal. So all these interventions, it's easy to say, oh, let me blame this level of government, let me blame whoever. But leaders step up. Yeah, you must step up and get it done.
My good friend and your good friend, Maina Kageni.
Yes.
Who was with me this afternoon. And he said, ask him this. Are we heading to Singapore or are we heading to Sink Hapo?
Jeff.
We are heading to Sink Hapo. Bro, I need to check something. Kumbe ni hivyo tu. Kumbe ni hivyo. My bad guys. My bad. Nataka kumake sure kitu iko nini. Full screen vizuri. There you go. Kumbe tu ni ujanja tu kidogo inaniremea hapa. We do it live.
The case of Nairobi today, the provision that we just were able to use has been available for the last 13 years, but was never used. Urban Area Cities Act says that Nairobi shall be the capital city. It's the only county with that provision that beyond just being a county, you can get additional resources as the capital city. There is no way, and tomorrow the president is signing into law the infrastructure fund that unlocks the resources. There is no way.
Dan Lex, niko fiti sana my G, niko poa sana G. Welcome to the live.
Kenya will go to Singapore without Nairobi. You know, we're sorting out the drainage. We have to sort it out. We have to sort out roads. I have sewage, and I'll give you an example. Under this arrangement, I have 9 billion for a new treatment plant in Kariobangi. You know, the capacity there has been 30,000 cubic meters. Now it's going up by 60,000 for us to have a 90,000 cubic meter treatment. Those are things people must be alive to, and the things that cost.
Bruh, you speak too much. The other time you were in this primary school and you promised these schoolgirls that you will supply them with a machine that makes up to 1 million chap a day. My question to you guys is one question. How many of you have seen that? What's it called? How many of you have seen that machine that makes 1 million chap a day? Kama umeona tu inua mkono juu kwa chat. Kama umeona inua tu mkono kwa chat juu, please.
You see us enforcing, land rates. Of 250,000 parcels, only 50,000 people are paying. So the people who are not paying are also the ones complaining. How will we fix these things without resources? Yeah, Jeff, let me give you an example. Look at your neighborhood. Beautiful houses, worth millions. But you know, less than 40% of the people there are paying the property taxes.
And because they're not paying, why?
Some people only pay when they're caught, you know, and they're not paying because they want the service, but the service is not there because you're not paying. I'll give an example. I was with my colleague, the mayor of Paris in Nairobi. She came here, and I took her to one of our developments in Pangani. And she said, how much is your budget? And I told her around 33 to 40 billion Kenya shillings. She kept quiet for a while, converted it, then asked me, how many people do you have? I said, 7 million people. And she's like, how do you do it? So I asked her, how much is yours? Paris has 2 million people. Her budget is equivalent of 1.5 trillion shillings. So you want that lifestyle without paying what needs to be paid today as a city. I think we must also look at our responsibility as Nairobians.
I get that. I see it. Naiona. Sijui yado. Thank you, Yakuza mwenyewe. By the way, I told you guys, I said this like 2 or 3 days ago. Hata sisi we played a part, very big part, on kumake sure yani kwa like hii shida yote pia sisi wenyewe tulijiletea. And I also called it out. I said, Sakaja ndio scapegoat yetu. It's easy for us to point fingers at him kwa sababu we need someone to blame. Kwa sababu we do not want to look at the mirror tujiambie sisi ndo wenye makosa, even though pia sisi tumeplay a part. Kwa sababu every day manyumba zinapangwa, every day manyumba zinajengwa. Unanipata? Kitu tunasemanga, mi kwanza ni one of those people, unadianga, si ni tax money yetu. Na ukiangalia watu wengi sana hata tujua jeni ni tax, tujifanye kitu ya tax. Lakini pia hatuna hizo systems in place kama hizo stories za Paris na nini. Unajua wala say kuna venye wameka vitu in place that lazima utalipa. Upendo usipende kuna vitu lazima utalipa. Kuna vinyase lazima wanajua venye utakushika. Sisi hatuna hiyo system ya kushika watu hiyo design. Ina make sense? Because watu pia wamesota wengi.
So why don't you enforce that, Gov? You're in charge. Why enforce that?
There's some regulations that we're waiting for on the National Rating Act that was passed in 2024 and got into effect 2025. Because I can auction you, I can collect rent on your behalf, but the regulations are needed, so people don't to court. And that's why we're engaging with the minister. You see, now I have a platform every 2 weeks to sit down with that PS and say, where are the regulations? Or use these draft regulations. There is no quick fix for this city, Jeff. It is not possible. There's no quick fix.
Okay, so you ran for governor.
Yes.
After being senator.
Yeah.
Did you think the job would be this daunting?
I knew it.
You knew?
I mean, I was born in this city. A lot of what we're doing is catching up with how derelict it was from 1992. When multipartyism came in and KANU lost control of Nairobi, they let it go. That's why I'm struggling with the president to build classrooms. We have only 210 schools in a county of 17 constituencies. Most of the rural constituencies have 150 ATC. Children are in informal schools. Many of them have been marooned. I was talking to Wakono, the APBET. You know what APBET means? Alternative Provision of Basic Education. Correct. And he's showing me the schools in Kawangware. They don't have any capitation. They don't have that infrastructure. We're doing 5,000 classrooms with the president. That's why we're going around. These interventions, this affirmative action for the city is necessary. And I'm glad that people can now see that, yes, the city is growing. We're dealing with a generational infrastructure deficit. Drainage built for 500,000 people, planning, and development control for a smaller city than we have today. But the reality is we can't just whine. We have to do it, Jeff. And we're doing it, and I'm up to it, and we'll do it.
Let me ask you this, Gov.
We'll get it done.
You get it done. Yeah. In the meantime, the rise of illegal buildings. Let's face it, man. Illegal buildings. Even here, Kilimani, where we are.
They're not necessarily illegal, but there's need for more controlled development, Jeff.
You see, Jeff amesema kweli. Sasa mimi nimesema before kitu. Land zinajengwa tu kujengwa viholela. Na ni high rise buildings. Sasa ni kama building chini ya maji hizi tudogo. Gorofa kubwa. Hajafuatilia kitu. Na kanjo obvious kuna pesa wanapewa kanjo. Kwani pesa kanjo inaenda wapi? Wale makanjo wanafuatilia ngatu. Kwani wanafuatilia ngatu hizo funds wanachuanga zinaende wapi? Mtu anatupima.
Because many of these buildings are built through the planning process.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is that the decision to award or to accept somebody's submission for building approvals is not an individual decision by the county. We have what we call the Urban Planning Technical Committee, which has representation from the Architectural Institution, AAK. We have representation from the Engineering Board. We have representation from the residents. In fact, the chairman is from the Residents Association, and they sit and they discuss it, So
and NEMA.
Not an individual. NEMA is there. The Civil Aviation Authority is there.
Yeah.
People assume that there's just somebody in City Hall who just says, okay, let me approve, let me get some money. No. And what we've said is that the associated infrastructure, because now we must sit down with these developers.
Okay, I'm explaining vizuri. Thank you. Umenijibu vizuri.
Yeah. If you look at the strain they have caused, even on roads just here,
Yeah, ni aje chill out records. So this is Lee. Yeah, so this is Lee actually. Wengi walitoka na ile crime ilikuwa inasumbua huko hivyo Isili wakaamua kuhamia South Sea. South Sea sana mira poa, acha nikwambie growing up ilikuwa South Sea iko na mira mzuri. Na huko hivyo sasa walikuwa na hizi tu sports cars. Mtu alikuwa amechafua when Fast and Furious ilikuwa inaanza kutokea zile enzi za kina Isa. South Sea ndio ilikuwa imeshikana watu wanakaa hivyo man.
We will not give them occupational certificates if they don't restore the roads and maintain them during construction. But also when you're
hizi building ndio zimemess ziweji yetu by the way. That's true. I actually agree with that.
Moving from what was half an acre with one single dwelling unit to now 60 houses.
Yeah.
There's investment in the public infrastructure that you must put in,
And don't forget, the roads that you ruin while you're constructing have to be fixed.
True.
It's horrible.
They must be fixed.
Yeah.
And that's a discussion that we're having with them. And we will enforce, because it has cost me so much to do, for instance, Chani Avenue or Wood Avenue. And you will see on your way to the developments is where the road is dilapidated, and they're building, and they are actually willing to do it. Fortunately, I sat with some of those developers; they will do it. But this city, we must not look at the city in terms of what it has always been, but in terms of what it must be.
Yeah.
And this is the right time to have those discussions and to implement. And I promise you, Jeff, now with the resources that we're getting, imagine in one day of signing we got 80 billion. From a 40 billion budget, 80 billion worth of interventions. How long would it have taken me to collect parking to be able to get that? The river program alone is 50 billion, And that there's dredging, there is river training, there is increasing the width in many places. If you see how the flow has been along Nairobi River, just because of the work that has started.
Your 80 billion wametoa wapi? Is there something I'm missing? Where did they get the 80 billion from? Because I'm from after intervention. Who intervened? What am I missing, bro?
There's been an improvement, and it has a timeline. By January 15th next year, that work will be done. Today, if you go to Globe Cinema, we've closed it off.
Yeah, true. Very soon, Kilimani mtakujiwa. I know these people. They will come for you. They always come for you. Mesa Kilimani. Buildings imejaa. Hapana. It's too much.
Because of the work that needs to be done. My friends in Grogon are really affected, but they know they were supposed to move.
You mentioned a waterway earlier.
Memphis anasema chomo na taya.
One that was blocked, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Who approves for a roadway or waterway to be blocked? Who approves of that?
That's an estate built in 1990.
We do not get asked ilijengwa lini. Who approves that? Answer the question.
2 thereabout. It's been there. And I told you when I came and said we must make an intervention to the residents whose houses were flooded.
Yeah.
What's the name of this estate? I'll remember the name of the estate. It's on Olodumo at the dip. And they're like, please, no, we can handle it. It happened in 97, but now it's taken time.
And now it's come again.
It's come again, but it's okay. Please don't take down our wall. You cannot have your cake.
Come on.
I've seen politicians politicizing this. Yet they're the same ones on top of vehicles telling people not to move when they need.
For it. I did not see Obina swimming. It is. I need to look for that. Then siwache kuiba, wafanyeo kazi, atamwambia you can't tell us you need this that amount then. Yeah, of course they will steal. Let me also tell you another thing. This nigga knows next nini apati kitu. He knows this. So chances are whatever amount itatoka hapa lazima ataiba ka kitu. Bilioni 1, bilioni 2, hata bilioni 3. Hata acha hiyo pesa ende hivyo.
To move. So Jeff, I'll just close my ears and do what must be done for this city. I don't care about the political ramifications. What must be done will be done.
Let me ask you this. Is it all about powerful developers, or is it politicians, or who is it? Or is it a cartel out there? Is it a mafia out there?
Not necessarily a cartel. It is people who compromise officers. Of course, there's a political aspect. If you look at, for instance, the 60-meter special planning area that we declared along Nairobi River. And when we're moving in there and going to Mathare River and Ngong River, if you look at the areas affected, Jeff, Mukuru kwa Ruben, Viwandani, Kibra, Mathare, they're all along those rivers, you know, and it's lives that we must save. So you have to make a choice between, political expediency and doing what is right. And we will do what is right. We will keep doing it. But, all of...
I think he keeps repeating that. Just he wants to tell himself that. He wants to believe he will do something. I don't think he has the power. I think anajichocha ili anataka kujiambia hivyo hadi aamini. We will do what you need to do right. I'm not going to do any favors to the people. We're going to do what we need to do. Anajiambia hivyo over and over again so that he can believe it. But deep down he knows he's powerless. Powerless.
Us must see our part, Jeff. If you look at, and I'm very glad with my Green Army, because even as it flooded, by morning it all, it was all, it was flowing. It all moved. Because every day they are unclogging drainage. What are they finding in that drainage? They're finding plastics. Yes. They're finding bottles. Who dumps in that drainage?
All of us.
It's all of us, You see someone in a very big car throwing banana peels outside.
Banana peels are okay. Banana peels are good for the environment. You can't tell me ati banana peel itende block ni fuck off. Toka hapa na ujinga wako
And then you'll say, Sakaja, I was in
bro, hata leo nimetupa banana peel kwa nyasi fulani ilikuwa pale. Let me tell you. Kwanza kitu ya kwanza, let's start with that story ya banana peel. Chances are the ants will pick up on hii banana. Zianze kufanya shughuli yao, the next thing you know inakuwa consumed inakuwa consumed bado na the soil. Unanipata? It's a ecosystem. Hiyo banana peel. Ya plastic, hapo I will agree that plastic ni mbaya. Plastic is a serious situation. Have you ever seen those videos of river restoration? Sijui unapata iko Indonesia, sijui unapata iko huko hivyo hizo mainchi za chinku na una notice ni plastic na kwanga zimejaa kwa rivers. Plastic ni mbaya, plastic ni damaging. Lakini maganda ya ndizi, sijui maganda ya machungwa, hiyo ikaezi finya blockage. Or maybe inaweza, but I don't think so. Lakini ukitupa kwa ground, that's okay according to me. Because babu environment itafanya kitu inafanyaga na vitu kama hizo. Lakini kusema tio nimeblokisha Nairobi kafika hapo. Seti ndo kitu amesema, ni najabu tu kuparaphrase.
I always say the day, and I've used this example before because it's very vivid. And this lady is like, super governor karibu, lakini mbona kuna uchafu? Uchafu gani? She's selling tomatoes, onions, mangoes, etc. She's like, hii uchafu. And right in front of her stall is the peels of that. You see these guys with the sugarcane everywhere. We're the ones buying that sugarcane.
Correct.
So, yes, there's what enforcement must be done by the city council officers, but you can't just be running around people. Let us be responsible. When you do cleanups in the area, come out, join us, because it's our environment. And it'll affect you personally when you don't do it, Jeff.
Gov. And I'm glad you're talking about garbage and disposal and all that. But before that, if you were to demolish one or two buildings tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which ones?
And the people who own them are politically connected, as you and I know. What would you do?
Well, I don't care about the...
Nothing.
Away, and we followed all the steps that the law provides, enforcement notices. When you do cleanups in the area, come out, join us, because it's our environment, and it'll affect you personally when you don't do it, Jeff.
Gov. And I'm glad you're talking about garbage and disposal and all that, but...
So they had to reverse it.
Demolish one or two buildings tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the people who own them are politically connected, as you and I know.
Provides enforcement notices and the time. We just have to do it. So, Jeff, I'm glad the people are upset.
Yeah.
And I hope that mood remains when you see us implementing.
Let me tell you a funny story, right? It's not really a funny story, but it's an experience I noticed. Tulikuishi Umoja. When you are living in Umoja, unacheki on front of every ploti kulikuwa na mtaro, sawa? So what used to happen on Saturday, tulikuwa tunasafisha hii mtaro. Sasa tulikuwa tunafanya, tulikuwa tunatoa hizo uchafu ziko kwa mtaro, hizo matakataka ziko kwa mtaro, tunaweka hapa kando ya mtaro. Si mtaro ndio hii, tunaweka hapa hivi kando. Unanipata? Tunasafisha, tunachukua hizo maplastic, manini, makaratasi, tunaenda tunafanya tunazichoma, lakini mchanga tunaiacha hapa. Okay? Ukitoa mchanga, it's wet. So you can identify, tunaiona ndio hii hapa. After kitu 1 hour, next thing you know, watoto wameanza kucheza. Next thing you know, wamekanyaga nini ile mchanga, in a way inakuja na kwa flat. Not flat ati ile ati ionekani, yani ile flat like you cannot. Roger before ilikuwa ni kama kamlima hivi. Sasa watoto wamekanyaga wamecheza nayo. Next thing you know, ile mchanga tulitoa kidogo inaanza kufanya nini? Inaanza kurudi ndani ile mtaro yenye tumetoa. So ni kama nafanya zero work. Na hiyo ndo shida pia niko sure na Nairobi, na sana utapata inafanyika. Watachua hizi uchafu lakini hakuna mahali pa kuipeleka. Next thing you know, you kitu yote wanasema wametoa hizo drainage. Watatoa yes, lakini zitajipata tu zimepanda. They find their way back in because there's nowhere to go and dump them. I haven't heard him say zinapelekwa huku na huku.
People have put vibanders and kiosks and containers on what should be drainage. Of course, there's expansion that must be done, which had costed at 25B. I know West.
Yo, Yakuza, hata sikuwa nimeona hiyo text yako, lakini kwa ajabu kuexplain. Sasa hiyo ndo wanafaa kutuambie, hiyo mchanga itaenda wapi? Kwa saa hii, mchanga mingi zimeingia kwa barabara, mchanga nyingi ziko kwa drainage. I am sure zile drainage zote saa hizi kiangaliwa vizuri. Bro, ni mchanga imejaa pale sana. Sasa ni mchanga imekusanyika na matope, ikamix na plastic. It's not gonna be an easy job. Ngori.
Starting with a small portion of it in the next few days. However, just simple things that, look, I am an MP or I'm an MCA and I have my people who have got in a container, we're putting it here. I will not listen to that.
No.
You can't.
Ni commute bado? Mtu ananiambia ni commute. Ni commute. One kwa chat ka ni commute. Mnanisikia? Oh, mnanisikia?
But forget the Kibandanskis or whatever they call those things. The big buildings. The big buildings. They're propping up all over the place.
The options you must give them is to see whether there can be any mitigation and to discuss with them. If really they cannot, I mean, look at a whole school like Visa Oshwal, you know, and the Oshwal Center.
Thank you, W Kachat.
Yeah. The river passes under. You know, would you bring that down, or would you talk to them to look at what mitigation can be done in expanding the channel? You know, so it's a very pragmatic discussion that must be done.
Sure.
My borough managers have listed, because I have 6 borough managers, they've listed all of the interventions required through the sub-county engineers. And the engineers are there, the professionals are there. And so they have the mandate now to engage this week all of those who are affected and then come up with a plan for all of them. Because it's not something we can just sit and wait for again and again. But people must be ready for this tough action to be taken.
Are you the man who's going to do that?
I'll do it. I will do it, Jeff. I'll do it.
He's fighting so hard. He's trying so hard to do. Anajaribu kujiconvince. Jeff anajua uniga atafanya shit. Jeff anajua uniga atafanya shit. Lakini Sakaja anajaribu kujiconvince yake yote atafanya.
The cost of not doing it is worse. Yeah. And you see, if you read, there's a book called Nairobi Today that gives you the history
mtu ako mavitu
of the city from the time when even positioning it was an issue.
Yeah.
And there's somebody who's quoted there because he was working for the railway and he's the one who made the decision where this depot will be. And he said, no, this place...
Machakos was supposed to be the capital, right?
Machakos, and then that guy was not in good terms with like the district person.
Yeah.
And he said, this place is a swamp.
It's a swamp.
It floods. You should not have it here. So the other option was Kikuyu, you know. Yeah, but these are hills and valleys. And so we decided to have the capital here. We must make it work. There's no option we have. We can't move it now, you know.
Yeah.
But those tough decisions must be made. And if you go to the 1928 master plan of the city, you see it again. You see those buffer zones that became, it was really segregation. You know, the Mzungu took Muthaiga and Kilimani and the higher areas. Karen is the highest part of the city.
Yeah.
And then if you look right next to Nairobi River is slums. Next to Ngong River, it is slums, but they're called it the Green Buffer Zone. Go to the 1948 master plan.
Commercial break.
Same thing. We can't just imagine, read poetically about the mistakes of the past, but we must prepare the city for the future. Nairobi is growing rapidly, more than 6% every year. It's going to get worse next year. That's why we're looking for more water for the residents, and we made quite some progress. Even through this agreement, I'm now getting support for Ngedu treatment plant. Remember, Nairobi sources were only 4. Kikuyu Springs, built in 1907. Ruiru Dam, built in 1928. Sasumwa in Nyandarua, built in 1958. And then Dakaine, targeting a population of 2002, of 2 million Nairobians. All of that combined was providing us 525.6 million liters of water. Yet the demand is 970. And so, working with the national government, I was able to conclude the Northern Collector 1, which has added 140 million liters of water per day. Many people are now receiving water they've now gotten. But that is not enough. There's still a deficit of around 200 million liters daily. How do you plug in that deficit? Maragua 4 must be done. And as you do it, you must also do the supporting infrastructure for Siwa, which is almost 70% of that capacity. We're doing now at Ngedu treatment plant in Gatundu North.
I don't know. The more I listen to him, the more I realize. Wachi venye Ruto anakwanga tu anaongeaga mambo, like, anakwanga na solutions, but anakwanga like na verbal solutions. But practicals, hakuna. That's what I just see that. I hear that every time namsikiza.
Lose 30 million liters every day through the backwash, filtration system. Yeah. We're now, we've engineered a reverse backwash system that will add another 55 million liters in dry days and 65 million liters when it rains. All of these things are to prepare the city for the future.
These past floods, the last 72 hours, have they been a wake-up call to you and your county?
They've been an affirmation of what we're doing. They've affirmed why we're cooperating. They've affirmed and shown Nairobians why there is a need for us to all take responsibility, for us to look at how we dump, how we treat garbage. Of course, we're doing now an end-to-end garbage intervention, from collection to transfer stations to recycling, which we're going to do in Ruai and in Dandora. That is what the president has been saying. We'll collect. It's not the national government coming to collect garbage. It costs 6 billion. The county will put in 4 billion, and the national government is supporting with another 2 billion. And that's why the cooperation is extremely important. And in a few months, you will see this city is going to be the cleanest city. Things are going to be flowing.
Come on,
bro. Yeah, thank you.
The resources are going to be put in there. Yes.
It's not Kigali, man.
Mwambie mtu anatupima toka hapa na ujinga. You've been saying that for the longest time ever na kuna kitu ushaifanya. Fuck off kakaja bana.
Kigali is a small city. It must work.
I got a message from Joyce in Kigali. She says, come on, this man is joking. You should come and benchmark in Kigali, because Kigali works.
I've been there. The people are disciplined.
We are not. We are not.
We are not. We dump. I'm sure you don't even know where your garbage goes to, because you pay some private person.
Yeah. Pick me up or whatever it's called. Pick a bin.
Who does illegal dumping? Somewhere, because they say Dandora is too far for them. The citizens are involved in the cleanups. And I've been there. I was there just recently. I even met President Kagame. And and he said something very interesting. He said, for a city like yours, people who have not gone through what we've gone through, it'll be very difficult. Because for a long time, he used to take his kids to school and would stop where he sees trash and collect. So people started feeling guilty, like, oh my goodness, the president is... Yes, that's what he told me personally.
Really?
Yes, he told me personally. I had a meeting with him. And so all of this, you see, when we say let's make Nairobi work, it's not let Sakaja make Nairobi work. It's let all of us do our part. Of course, the county must take a lead on it.
Shut the fuck up. And every day mna collect pesa yetu. Every day mna tu overcharge vitu. Sakaja wanifala
When I was growing up, we used to pay, our water bill had a percentage that was part of the garbage, and we had those metal bins, NCC, etc. We're introducing that conservancy fee.
Come on.
Our water bill, yes.
Is that going to work?
It must be paid for. Listen, Jeff, there are two problems with garbage: manpower and the equipment. I had 4,500 young people who are now permanent and pensionable, Green Army. We got equipment, bought 24 tippers, bought another 24 refuse compactors. It's not enough. This new arrangement is bringing me now, including tricycles, that are going to go into the informal settlements, etc., more tippers, etc. But you see, what has been happening is that these kids collect the garbage, put it by the side of the road, but when Exchequer has delayed, then the money I collect, I can only pay salaries. So the vehicles are stuck without fuel, the garbage is out there, it goes back in. Now with this arrangement, you can ring-fence the resources required, because it's a logistical exercise. Every day you need to get spare parts, you need to fuel these cars, you need to fix them, etc. And that is what we figured out. Before, it was just a business enterprise where you have all these people with their companies being paid huge amounts by the county, and it was a lot of corruption there, But this is going to be an end-to-end solution, and we will see it, Jeff. I'm here for us to see it.
Tell me something, Gov. Revenue collection.
Yes.
Daily. Let's say parking. How much do you make? How much does county make?
It's seasonal.
Of course. It won't give straight answers. Fucking retard.
Jeff, when I became governor, I found it at 8 billion a year.
Hey.
A year?
Yes. I moved it up. The last July was 13.8 billion. I increased the revenue from around 9 to 13.8 billion. But it's still not enough.
What is standard? What is enough?
What would be required for Nairobi is nothing less than 60 billion a year.
60?
Yes. This is a city, it's a service city.
Mtu kichwa yake ni mbaya. 60. Juu tunafanya kazi gani Nairobi? Ni kazi gani tunafanya yenye itatoa 60 billion per year Nairobi? Mtu anatupima wazimu. I've seen it. Same mindset na yenye Ruto alikuwa nayo. For the country to develop, lazima ni increase taxes. Sasa pesa ya taxes yenye mnalipa zaidi itaweza kuwasaidia nyinyi. Sasa acha niongezee bei za vitu alafu hii pesa nitairudisha kwenyu. Nani ameona pesa ikirudishwa kwa mfuko yetu ama ikifanya kwa kitu yetu yoyote? Hakuna. Same mindset na Ufala. Ufala kuna the same mindset. He believes that increasing the prices of things na vitu itasaidia Nairobi pate pesa mingi, kupata pesa mingi itaweza kufanya hizi kazi zingine. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Na mnachukua hii pesa daily. Fuck off.
You need staff, you need to see sweepers, you need to see cleaners, you need doctors, you need nurses. Mama Lucy Hospital alone, for instance, has 1,200 staff. We need another 6 Mama Lucy's. But you see, when you see the city in the same scale as every other county in the country.
Mind you, Mama Lucy has the worst services ever. Inafaa kuitwa Mama Lucy Mortuary. Cause ukienda pale, uko in critical condition, unaenda kudedi. My best friend yangu Misa, haya anaitwa Sami, budake unfortunately alikufa Mama Lucy, na mind you, they had the oxygen tank pale hivyo, wakakata kumpatia, ati mwenye ako na kifungu, lazima toke na kifunguko, akuje afungue. Apeani approval. Yet ni kitu inaweza patiliwa, lakini lazima tungoje ule mtu anapeana approval. Yet mtu anakufa tu hapo hivyo. Best yangu mwingine anaitwa Daddy. Kwa anacheza naye bake. Brother yake alikufa wapi? Mama Lucy. Mama Lucy imenipotezea mabesti wangu na watu kao karibu 5. So ile si hospitali. Ile ni mortuary. Hadi besti yangu moja. One of my close friends. Mama Blesso Shanice. Pia yeye alikuwa Mama Lucy. Hakupata services. Akadedi. So please, sikuja hapa na story ya Mama Lucy. Fuck you. Mtu ananikasirisha.
Then you limited your law, you cannot have more than 30% of recurrent cost, etc. And it's because the denominator is small. The base that we're focusing on, the revenue, is small. Go to any capital city around the world. Their biggest revenue source is property taxes, but still they have an arrangement with the national government. Yeah. We're still the only city of its stature that charges.
I just read Kmart. Ndio nimeona comment yako sahi. Me, what I am doing, for one, I am not dumping vibaya. I am make sure takataka situpi vibaya. I make sure anytime ama anywhere niko like responsible, nataka kujua hiki tunafanya ita affectaje the next thing. The only thing mtu pa kwa grao, si nimekwambia already, ni maganda ya ndizi, maganda ya machungwa, kwa sababu I know environment, mother nature itafanya kitu inafanyaga na hiyo kitu, they know. Lakini siju kudamp machupa, kufanya manini hizo mufala, mara sijui ati sisafishi kitu kwa sababu ni jirani yangu alichafua ama ni jirani yangu alifanya, hizo mimi sifanyi. I play my part venye nafaa kufanya, na I'm calling out watu kwa sababu kuna tuwezi acha tuachafue environment, hizo acha fanye vitu mbaya just because they affect directly. So na call out mtu, unanipata? I suggested hapa huko mali kuna drought, mali kuna unapatizi wenyewe tujijengee dam. Kila mtu anaenda kila siku, every day lazima uende upinge uchimbe 5 feet 5 by 5 feet daily hadi hiyo dam tipatile level tunataka. Before anything, kila mtu, daktari, mwalimu, dereva, mtoto, nyanyago, anyone, unachimba 5 feet yako 5 by 5 feet, halafu ndio unaenda shughuli yako, kwa sababu hiyo damu itakuja tusaidia sisi. That was just my suggestion. But unajua hizo akili zetu, yes, you can have the smartest idea, but positions watu wako nayo wanafaa kusikiza hizi vitu hawasikii. You think these people care? They don't. Ataingia gari yake, aende achukue kokaini yake, achukue ndomu zake, achukue pombe yake na mastripa wake, waendelee kujibamba. Nyinyi mteseke huko, simu aeke huko flight mode, mtadu nini?
Rates on undeveloped site value. That Jeff, your house pays the same taxes as 1 acre in Githogoro. You know?
Niaje Priscilla?
That 1 acre that has one single dwelling in Kileleshwa pays the same as the next one with 60 houses. Yeah. Yet they use the roads, they need water connections, they need sewer, etc.
That's madness.
That must change.
That's madness.
These are conversations that we must have with the people.
So why aren't you having it?
We're having it now because, Jeff,
now
we did our 2019 valuation roll. We're the only country that is using having rates that are up to date, and that's 2019. Others are stuck in the 80s. And I had to go to the president and the judiciary that time. Immediately we got in, and the Chief Justice gave me a valuation court where some people had disputed, the values, and we said, okay, then if we come to take that property, we will take it at the price you're saying. And half of the disputes went down. But now we need a 2026 valuation rule that takes into account what the city needs. Remember, Jeff, the difference, and I was telling the president, the difference between myself and the national government is the national government says, this is what we want to do for our people. This is how much you collect. The rest you can borrow or increase taxes. Counties do not have deficit financing. Jeff, I have to...
Do you know something weird? When was the last World Cup? World Cup ya mwisho ilifanyika which year? 2020 2026 2022 the last World Cup ilifanyika, right? Now there was this amazing country inaitwa Japan. Now Japan, after the match, the fans who came to watch the game 2022, the fans, when walikuja after game, the fans used to collect, like they would clean ile area yao, ile section yao yenye majapans wako, walikuwa nasafisha hiyo area, wanakota out the plastic, they clean everything, they make sure it's almost spotless. Nani anakumbuka story? Almost spotless mali wanatoka. Next thing wakaanza kuextend, wakaanza ni kama wanafagia stadium. And I remember for a little bit some countries wako like, ka Japan wanafanya kitu, si hata sisi tu join in tufanye kitu. Watu sasa wakaanza kusafisha. So unapata after game watu wana collect na mapepa na magarbage can, wanasaidia nini? Wanasaidia watu wa Japan kusafisha stadium. Hiyo ilianza tu na watu wa Japan. You get? You see where I'm going with this? Sasa tu tunasema tu, hii ni tu example. Watu wa umoja wakuwe na hiyo kitu. Ama tisianze na umoja, tu umoja ni kubwa. Tuseme hata watu wa kanisa tu, community tu kadogo. Iseme sisi hivi na hivi na hivi tunakuja kusafisha area yetu for us. We are cleaning this area for us. Not for the government, not for the chief. Ni hatutalilia chief. Ni sisi tu tunaamua tu leo tunasafisha. Kitu ya kwanza, huwezi tupa plastic vibaya. Huwezi fanya kitu yote chafu. Ama kama pipeline. Una pipeline, it's a bunch of retards. Wako pale watu vichwa mbaya. Hakuna mtu anataka kufanya kazi anafaa kufanya. So watu wameweka hivi makaratasi kwa balcony. Ndio ule kitupa takataka ikuji kwa nyumba yake. Sasa kila mtu anapata ameweka takataka kwenda chini. Instead of tu kukuja na rule moja tusikizane, pengine wewe tufanyaje? Tutafuteni kuna area. Sisi sote tunaweza shikana, tuongee na chief, tuongee na someone. Tuchimbe mahali tunadampa hapo takataka zetu alafu tunachoma. Hiyo community ianze tu na hao wenyewe kwanza to take responsibility. Achana na government kwanza. Hao wenyewe tu wenyewe, us for us, we take responsibility of that. Hiyo inaanza it's a angalia ita set motion. Sasa utapata watu wengine watakuwa naangalia hivyo by the way. Hapa ni hivyo. Hata tuseme mtu wa nje akuje ya ajue ashamaliza kukunywa predator yake, ametupele chupa, ataambiwa wewe huku hivi hatufanyangi hivyo, hatutupangi huku ma plastic. Halafu anaulizwa unafanyaje? Anajua venye anafanya. If ni mtu ako na akili timamu, akili mzuri, itambeba akina the next place ama kina the next area kuza but jana nimekuwa pipe, unajua pipe huwezi tupa tu plastic hivi, na huyo wastage ni safi. Na imagine wao wenyewe ndo wanajifanyia hizo vitu. Next thing unaona amepeleka message huko, inaanza hivyo. Lakini shida ni we don't wanna do that. We want the government to, yani basically sisi tunataka kufanyia kazi ni government ifanye. Haitafanya. Tulichagua watu wenda wazimu, watu wajali juu yetu. They don't give a fuck about us. It is upon us. Kama inakuuma, pole, funga seatbelt, safari inaendelea. Lazima. It's just us for us. I'm telling you. If you will wait. How many times have we been waiting? This nigga anatuambia the same shida alikuwa anapitia 1997 ndo anaiona sasa 2026. Hasn't he been waiting long enough? Hadi sasa bado ana wait. Haitaifanyika. Unfortunately. To the point it makes me think, is this the mind of the black man?
Think of the 13 billion plus the 20 from equitable share. And remember, that 20, I get 1.7 billion a month. From that 1.7, 1.5 is salaries. 200 must go to the assembly. You have not fueled a single truck. You have not collected a single, piece of garbage.
You see? Hata naona hapa hivi. Rwanda. Hata hapa tu kando yetu. Na Rwanda it's clean because everyone wanna take part in the cleanliness. Hata I remember some time back, madhangu alikuwa ameenda kuuza vitu kwa hivyo Rwanda. Mama alikuja kaniambia, uko mimi nakwambia Wakenya ndo walikuwa tu nikawa na jibamba wako wild, wako free. Wale watu wa Rwanda wako tu ni kama wamefungiwa. Like ni kama caged. Yaani unapata watu tu wako tu disciplined tu. Wale wanasafisha area yao, wanafanya mausafi zao. Hiyo soko venye mliingia mkaipata ni safi, ndio mtatoka mwache ikiwa safi. Wakenya ndio unapata walikuwa naacha vitu zao zikiwa chafu wameachilia. Lakini hizo nini zingine zote walikuwa nasafisha. Ikabaki wameadapt hiyo mindset wakoza hapa hivi. Hakuna haja tupatia locals kazi ngumu. Pia sisi to make sure area yetu ni safi tu kama hizo area zingine. Mimi najua tukiishi umoja, mama ataosha hadi mlango wake naisha hivi. Hapo atasafisha hapa hivi. Huku hata ikuwe na mavi, ikuwe na mtu wa mwili amekufa, ikuwe na akili ya sakaje kwa hivi, hata gusa ya akili ya sakaje, hata iwache hapo hivi, hata ikioze kinuka, hata gusa. Na ipande nyingine hata fanya kitu. And it was just hata si like 5 meters. 3 meters. Kitu tu kimwage hivi maji pige imekuwa safi. Hiyo mindset sasa puna pata ule the next person pia ameadopt hiyo mindset. Jana ule mama alisafisha kwake kusafisha kwangu. Ngoja. Pia wewe unafanya the same thing. Next thing you know, inakuja na kwa mindset utakataka kwa hiyo ploti. Tuna ugonjwa.
That is how the challenge in the city is the financing. All the plans are there, from the new plan, from the Nairobi Wont discussion with Mayor Magic. I've gone through all of those are there, but unless you unlock the financing, and I'm glad that with this sovereign wealth and the infrastructure fund that are looking at 5 trillion, a big portion of it will come to Nairobi, and I will stick to it. I will be there. It must be there.
Gov, let me ask you this. Yeah. So why not make Nairobi like Abuja? Federal Capital Territory, which is not it's not a province, so it's not a state, or Washington D.C., which is not part of a state. Why not do that and let the national government take care of all this?
Jeff, first of all, it is not true that the national government has angels and the county has devils. When NMS was in charge, they left a big mess in the city. 16 billion pending bills in 2 years for a county collecting 8 billion. They could not even collect what they were collecting. It was a mess. All these countries that have created a federal capital moved away from the bustling economic capital to a new place. From Dar es Salaam to Dodoma. In the States, from New York and Philadelphia to Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, where everyone, created, provided some land. Yeah. From Lagos to Abuja. Yeah. They didn't turn Lagos into the capital, but they moved from Sydney to Canberra.
Abidjan to Yamoussoukro.
Exactly. That is what you do, but you still support the... If you look at Nairobi, its contribution to the GDP...
I don't like the way he's eating. This nigga is a bitch. I do not like the way he's eating. There's another story. I do not know if you guys have seen it, but there was this TikTok of this woman. Alikuwa naenda kanisa, alafu kuna mama ama zuni mbaba alikuwa ameanika nguo kwa kamba yake. Alafu mama alikuwa anasema anaenda kanisa. Unanisikia? akaanua hizo nguo akatupa chini juu mtu ameanika kwa kamba yake. Mama hakuwa na nguo anataka kuanika, hakuwa na sijui kama mlioneo TikTok, kuna hiyo video ina spread around. Yeah man, that is the mindset. Hiyo ndio nani ploti. Yeah, that's it. It's not a Sakaja thing. I wish I could just blame it on him. We as a nation, we as a people, tumejifaka pia sisi wenyewe. Madam na anasema anaenda kanisa hadi amevaa ile nini ya jolejo. Hadi najuzeni hii kanisa ya matakataka, hii kanisa ya mashetani ama nini. Unaenda wapi? Na ushashukisha nguo za mtu juu ameanika kwa kamba yako na wewe hujaweka nguo hapo hivyo. Na ameweka nguo chini. Imagine you took your time to wash your clothes, umezianika alafu unakuja unazipata chini juu ulianika kwa kamba ya mtu. Mtasikizana after hapo kweli? But government
is huge.
Yeah, huge. 60% maybe?
Possibly 56%, contribution to the GDP. Meaning it needs special interventions to sustain what it does for the country. And in fact, that 80 billion is not a favor. It's because Nairobi has actually been carrying on its shoulders, the burden of the whole country. Actually, 5 counties, Nairobi, Kiambu, Machakos, Mombasa, and one more I forget, I think Nakuru.
That's all right, maybe.
Are doing more than 70% of our country's GDP.
70%?
Yeah.
But Nairobi, obviously.
Of course, Nairobi is the biggest.
Can you maintain that, Gov? Can you?
We can and we'll do better, and that is why this cooperation is the best thing that has happened for this city. In fact, when I went to the Senate, I asked them, you guys should have called me early asking me why I don't have an arrangement. Because Urban Areas and Cities Act 6.2 says there shall be an arrangement and an agreement between the national and the county government to provide services for the capital city, So in as much as all of these roads are not currently under the county, my shoulders, I bear that burden. And I'm ready to carry it without those resources, but still the responsibility of a leader.
There are people gnashing at your heels saying, I can do a better job than Sakaja. What do you tell them? And I'll mention names if you want.
It's okay. I mean, it's a democracy. Just be able to demonstrate it. Jeff, I know where I've gotten this city from. I know what the plan is. I have figured out.
You have no idea what the plan is.
How to plug the deficit of financing. And you will see the results.
This nigga believes the more money you give to the country, but the more money you make in the country, you're going to fix everything. That's not it. Mpesa pekee haitafikisha vitu hapo. You're a weak leader.
Can you beat Babu Owino?
I can beat anyone.
Can you beat Captain Karauri?
Who's that? Oh, yeah.
Oh. You did not say that.
Jeff, let me tell you, when I was senator,
yes,
it's so easy to comment when you're looking out from the outside in. The same way you watch a football match and you should have scored, ungefunga heavy bow, etc. Get your hands on the wheel, Jeff. Get your hands on the wheel.
It's a different story.
It's very different. I have 19,000 staff of different persuasion. I love how, they're,
but you're still in charge.
Yes.
And you still want to be in charge.
I want to see my city change. I really have the best intention for this city. And it's the only place I know. This is where I was born. This is my Ushago. It was only recently I started going to Kitale because I'm told now. But this is the place I know.
Yeah.
We're getting the best people to come with us. And I'm glad that people are saying, let's co-create these solutions, And we want to be radically transparent to say, look, this is what we get. This is what we spend it on. This is our deficit.
Yeah.
This is the challenge. Let's come together. Why don't corporates say, okay, we're going to take up this part of the city, this road. Let's come together. And I'm reaching out to
Governor. There's a lot of feedback coming in. Olive Burrows, aka Kaleche, you just
Jeff, I have.
This is the part to Udem Alijangori na Jeff. Watch this.
To be honest, people are upset.
People are upset?
Yeah, they're upset. They're saying the governor is here to do PR.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing PR?
That's what they've said.
Okay.
We'll look at some of their responses.
Let's listen.
Governor...
You guys called me.
Jeff,
I didn't look.
Jeff has told us, or rather he told you where he was when the raids happened. And a lot of Kenyans are asking, where were you when the disaster was in progress? Why were we not hearing about disaster management response teams when the Met Department had given a warning?
Yes. Thank you for that good question, you light-skinned woman.
Flood warning.
Well, for a lot of those who are in the vulnerable spots, they already got notices to move from the DCCs and the sub-county admins and the ward admins. Where was I? I was in the city.
Where?
Quickly had to convene response teams from all those who have that authority. I had to call Kura. I spoke to the DG, Engineer Kinoti, and he gave me his team. I had to speak to Kenya. They gave me their team. I spoke to Colonel Samoei of the National Disaster, NDOC. He had to give me his team, and the Minister of Public Service. Because unless you coordinate all of this, instead of what would have been PR, would have been now going out with the raincoats and gumboots and hampering the rescue process.
Yeah, but Sonko had his rescue team. Remember back then? You have an emergency rescue team?
Everyone has of course, we have a disaster department. We have the Green Army. We have them to every single ward in this county, But as I say, the challenge still remains that resourcing, and that is what you unlock. No matter who you put in charge of it,
these people are fucked up in the head. This nigga believes money will solve everything. Hiyo kitu nibonayo. Same thing to Naruto. Pesa itasolve kila kitu. Bora nikana pesa naweza fanya hii na na hii pesa mnapataje? Naacha niongeze ushuru. Fuck you.
Resourcing, you'll not do anything. Yeah, because these things must be paid for. And we must all carry our part of it. Yeah.
What about compensation for those who lost their properties, who lost, their livelihoods? Is there compensation?
That's a discussion to be had because...
No.
Yeah.
Is there or is there not?
Is there not?
There is none as you speak. But it's a discussion to be had because they're different. And as I'm explaining, they're different entities with different responsibilities. If your car got messed on the expressway, why would the county compensate you? It's all the county's, road. The county has no budget for that road, or Mombasa Road, or Jogoo Road, or TRM. All these places that had all of these problems are not under the purview of the county. And that's what I've explained. And I've said, despite them not being under the purview of the county, because the minister who maybe is in charge of it is also thinking about Turkana and Mombasa, etc., I now have a platform where I can sit with his PS and himself and keep pushing the interest of the capital. But Jeff, I would not take responsibility for something that is not my function. It is not under my purview. Somebody else has a budget for it. Somebody else has...
Basically, it's just telling you guys, in case your property was damaged, fuck you. Hataki tu kuambia, lakini naambia mjidinye, mjipange. Mimi sitaki kujua. Si mimi nilileta mvua. Hii ndio kitu anajaribu kusema, lakini hataki kusema hivyo.
Contractors for it, how then would I justify the county compensating you for that?
What about informal settlements? Someone, the little Mama Mboga's shop, obviously was destroyed.
Yeah.
Or they wake up in the morning and their furniture is up in the ceiling because the flood.
Yeah. It's really sad. I mean, where we can intervene and help using disaster resources, it's just the limitation. If it was up to me and there was no limitation on the resources, I'd say, yes, let's compensate everybody. But where is the money? It's just not there. At least not at the county.
All right, let's take a look at some feedback. Okay. But also, Governor, we saw videos of Kenyans rescuing themselves, holding hands, getting out of... I'm sure you've seen these videos.
Yeah. That was,
holding hands, getting out of a matatu on
Mombasa
Road. Yeah.
Mombasa Road.
Yes.
We saw a man swimming near Timol. But
not county roads.
If you had rescue teams out there, where were they operating? I
didn't see it. They're all over the city. I can share pictures.
Where?
I covered Hurricane Katrina. 21 years ago.
We Jeff, nyamaza. Udema anataka kufanya kitu mwenyewe wewe umeshindwa kufanya. Kwa hiyo umekuwa softy na umse. Walikuwa wapi? Nani akona any image ama video ya rescue team ikikuwa? Anywhere. Umeona hata watu na ma reflector na whatever boat, canoe, anything. Uliona wapi ya watu? Walikuwa wapi? Nani ameona mahali? Wakikuwa kwa cruise ship. Where did you see anyone akona hizo vitu? Umse anatupima. None. Uwezi niambizo hakuna hata mahali popote hata tuliona ati ndio rescue team ya nani imekwama. Hawakuwa anywhere and we know hawakuwa anywhere.
On CNN.
Yeah, in New Orleans. I'm telling you, it was crazy. It was crazy.
And you see, I mean, if you look at it globally, urban flooding has become a recent phenomenon.
Is it climate change? Is it global warming? What is it?
It is. Like the level of rain we have is more than ever before, and now you have a lot of...
Is it me? Ama Jeff anajua kitu inaenda kufanyika na block? Ama? Because I'm thinking like, udema anataka kuongea. Like the woman is really mad.
Concrete that doesn't allow the water to go where it should go. But look at New York. Look at, even Dubai recently. It's a challenge of, global climate adaptation must look into. And it's not just our fight. It's a global challenge. Even in Kenya, 14 counties had floods. But of course, the focus must be Sakaja and Nairobi. But it was in 14 counties, I've seen it in Athi River. I've seen it where it's all over. And we must now, as leaders, take cognizance of where we are and sort it out.
But Grav, don't forget, it's all about drainage. Horrible, horrible drainage.
Drainage is one part of it. It's about many things. Jeff, the drainage...
If we could sort out drainage, we'll sort out a lot of things.
It's easy to say that, you know, and Jeff, I costed it. Some of them need to be expanded. I give you the example of Ojijo Road in Kipande, from 1.2 meters to 0.6. I had to intervene to get it sorted, but it's not my road. It had to be done by Kenya. And you see, people don't want to understand that. You know, when you have a problem, you go to say it's Sakaja. You have a problem. That's why I've said, okay, since I'm blamed for it, I might as well be in a framework with those who are in charge of it to get it sorted. Because whether or not it is done, it will still be on me. But people must know devolution and what counties do and national does.
Right. We have feedback. Go ahead. Take a look at some feedback. There we have Kip Kosgei 008. The Kenya Meteorological Department warned of sustained rains and thunderstorms. Why was the multi-agency emergency response team only activated after the death toll reached critical numbers this weekend?
Yeah, I think I just explained. The early warning was issued for those along the riparian. That was actually multi-agency because it was your ACCs, which are Assistant County Commissioners, and your ward admins. And in many places, people moved, actually. One death is one too many, but you can't compare it to the last time. Even less flooding happened in the city. And so it is not that it only happened. Of course, you only see what you're interested in, you know. Yeah. So those in those affected areas know that they got those notices.
Yeah, but, you know,
let's
you
get
said one death is too many.
Please, Abilito.
But yeah, 27 deaths is a lot.
Last time, it was 45.
This is at Kialon Chalo. You've blamed the quote-unquote perennial nature of the problem. You've blamed, quote, clogged drains. You've even blamed the intensity of the rain. But, Governor, you've been in office since 2022. You knew the long rains were coming.
Yeah, and that is why there are many areas we've intervened. I've just given an example of Ojijo, Imaradaima, there are many places, but it's not enough. You can't just do piecemeal interventions based on the budget you have, you know. So we've mapped out all these hotspots with our engineers. We know what happens in South Sea. It's always happened ever since I was a kid. Yeah. We know what happens elsewhere. The engineers have come together and we're asking for more, you know, discussion. But ultimately, there'll be a bill that needs to be paid. And that is what I'm talking about.
Are you overwhelmed, Gov? Are you overwhelmed?
No, I'm under-resourced.
Next.
All right, let's take a look at some more feedback. This is Peterson. This has to do with clinical officers. As you host Sakaja, clinical officers in Nairobi have been on strike since the 23rd of December 2025, leading to a surge in patients at KNH and KUTTRH. He is yet to address the crisis and remains unreachable. Ask him what he's doing to restore health services.
I think the clinical officers have decided to be unreasonable because all of the other medical personnel have gone back. They have signed return to work formulas, and we told them this is what is available at the county, because you must be realistic. You know, if this is how much you can afford, if you want to work for the county at that price, at that cost, please stay. If you don't, then we'll declare your place vacant. But the doctors are back, the nurses are back, all other cadres of health staff, the nutritionists are all back. So that's a labor issue at the county.
Do you expect a crisis of waterborne diseases?
Of course. I mean, that is what naturally happens, and that is why our public health team has been out there in all of this, especially the informal settlements, you know, sensitizing the public, Nairobi Water, providing water to these people, that is clean water. That is a normal consequence of such an occurrence. And I've also seen the PS of medical services saying that they're willing to support further, and not just in Nairobi, across the country, where waterborne disease would be a natural consequence of it.
All right, let's take a look at some more feedback. This is Jethro Mwangi. With the current drainage crisis worsening, can we honestly say we are ready to host AFCON in a year? Infrastructure isn't just about stadiums, it's about the streets leading to them.
Good question, Gov.
Yes, I mean, if you look at Ngong Road, look at the road being done between Talanta towards Karen, look at Kibra Drive, all of those have been mapped out and have been in those sessions. Of course, again, they're being done, they're national roads, but still, we really tell them what they need to do. You know, we'll be ready for AFCON. We must be. It's not just a stadium. Yeah. It is where people are going to stay, we have accommodation, how the roads, what is the mass transit plan for it. That's why you saw what happened in next to Nyayo Stadium, where there were demolitions, because that's supposed to be a station, because rail will also be part of it. But look at the fourth schedule of the Constitution. Rail is a national function. But you see, as the head of the county, I must implore upon them and push them to get it done, you know.
Sorry, nimekuwa carried away kidogo. Like, so much thoughts going to my head. And I wanted to show you guys. First, tuone venye Japan ina deal na hii issue ya drainage. Una get? How Japan builds flood-proof cities.
But calling it large is like calling Mount Everest a hill. Today, I'm here to show you how Japan turns its largest city's greatest weakness into an engineering triumph. Tokyo's geography makes it particularly vulnerable to flooding. The city is built on a floodplain, with most of its eastern districts sitting below sea level. It's like living in a giant bathtub. Great for ducks, not so great for humans. Tokyo has a long history of battling floods. In fact, some of the earliest records of major flooding in the area date back to the 1600s. Fast forward to the late 20th century, and despite numerous flood control measures, Tokyo was still facing significant challenges. The city's rapid urbanization had led to more concrete and less natural ground to absorb rainwater, exacerbating the problem. In 1991, a particularly severe typhoon hit the region, causing widespread flooding and billions of yen in damage. It was
another thing pia nimesahau kusema ni historia Sakaja. Like, bro, imagine like you're a boxer. Alafu coach wako anakupatia specific instructions. On the second round, sekunde ya 35, opponent wako atarusha right jab. Unanipata? Anakupatia specific instructions. Sasa wewe akirushia right jab unataka uidodge ama uiduck. Alafu wewe unajifanya kusikia kocha akikupatia that specific instruction. Wewe mwenyewe unaenda tu pale, unaenda kimacho ngumu tu ati mimi nimezoea kuchukua punches. Unaenda unapigwa unakufwa. It's the same thing. Meteorological department inaambia kina Sakaja hii kitu itakuwa noma. Hii kitu itakuwa ngori. Hiyo rescue team yako anzeni sasa kuchangamuka sasa. Tafuteni watu kudrain hizo metaro sasa mapema. Wale watu wanaishi karibu na marive, sijui mtafanyaje, lakini tabaki imejipanga mapema. Yakatulia tu. Hii simuona mvua kama hizi. Bro, ni Nairobi, mvua tumeona. Kwa nini mara ya kwanza? Until watu wakakufa. Watu wakishakufa ndio sasa unamuona hapa hivi amekuja anaanza kujitetea na hizo takataka zake kituambia upuzi.
Clear that something drastic needed to be done. Enter the Tokyo Flood Tunnels project. The decision to build these tunnels wasn't taken lightly. It was a massive undertaking, both in terms of engineering and cost. But the potential benefits far outweighed the challenges. The primary goal was to create a system that could handle the excess water from major storms and prevent catastrophic flooding in the city. Think of it as a giant underground water slide, but instead of fun, it's funneling away potential disaster. But how exactly is it going to do all of this? And is one tunnel really going to be enough for what they're trying to do here? Well, let's break it down. The metropolitan area outer underground discharge channel is not just a single tunnel, but a network of tunnels. And when I say massive, I mean massive. The main underground reservoir is about the size of 2 football fields. It can hold a staggering 670,000 cubic meters of water. That's a...
You see? You see there? Mwana kitu. Hiyo. Ndio sasa nilikuwa nawaambia ile project yangu ya kila mtu kila siku nachimba futi 5. Kila mtu hiyo community anachimba futi 5. Hii maji ikikuja inapata mahali pa kuenda. Inapata mahali pa kuenda. Sasa teknolojia tunacheza nayo, hii maji inakuwa inasafishwa, inakuwa poa, inaanza kusuplaiwa kwa mataps na kwa manyumba. Sasa watu hawajia, watu wa nini hawataki kufa na drought tena anymore kwa sababu they stepped in kujisaidia wao wenyewe, sisi wenyewe. Unanipata? But ndakanika niko jaba sahi.
Hold a staggering 670,000 cubic meters of water. That's equivalent to 268 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Construction began in 1992 and took 14 years to complete, finally opening in 2006. The system consists of 5 massive silos connected by 6.4 kilometers of tunnels, all leading to a huge underground tank nicknamed the Underground Temple. Now, let's talk about some of the key engineering features that make this system so impressive.
Do you know, like, why we would never achieve this? First of all, we might have the land. I'm thinking the land iko malika Ruai huko. By then koshua wakitamua kuiweka hiyo pande ya Ruai wanaweza weka hiyo pande ya Ruai. But corruption iko hapa hivi Kenya ama in Africa as a whole is too high. Like corruption ni mingi sana. Tuwezi jifikisha tumefanya structure kama hii kwa sababu as much as hiyo pesa itatoka haitafika hapa. Maengineer watataka waibe, watu wanani watataka waibe, county government watataka ibe. Yani uwizi itakufanyika hapa itakuwa mingi sana, hakuna project itafanyika. Sijui ni nini, sijui tulirogwa na nani na history ya corruption. Na ndo maana ni mbaya sana. Na maana watu wetu wanakufa, jua tutaweza fanya kitu kama hii. Hata tuplanaje cause ya corruption.
The pressure adjusting water tank. This is where the magic happens. It's a massive underground chamber that can withstand the immense pressure of the water flowing into it. Imagine a giant pressure cooker, but instead of making your grandma's stew, it's saving Tokyo from floods. The tunnel system. The tunnels are built 50 meters underground and are large enough to accommodate a passenger jet. You could theoretically fly a plane through these tunnels, though I wouldn't recommend it.
Tracking your organization's expenses.
Bro. Unajua hata Priscilla amesuggest that tunafaa kutengeneza drainage inaweza kwa 6 feet. Like literally mtu anaweza simama 6 feet. Pipe drainage ya kwenda chini na kwa mtu 6 feet. Hii inaweza saidia at least kiasi. Cause this situation tuko nayo side it's dire. It's very bad.
System. This is the heart of the operation. 4 turbines, each weighing 14 tons, can pump 200 tons of water per second into the Etagawa River. That's like emptying an Olympic-sized swimming pool in just 3 seconds. But it's not just about the size. The engineering precision required for this project is mind-boggling. Every curve, every joint, and every pump had to be perfectly designed and constructed to withstand the immense forces at play. But how exactly does this massive system work? Let's break it down step by step. During heavy rainfall, water from swollen rivers is diverted into the tunnels through massive silos. These silos are like giant funnels, channeling the water away from the city streets and into the tunnel system. The water flows through the tunnels into the main reservoir, the underground temple. Once the rain subsides, the turbines kick in, pumping the stored water into the Etagawa River at a controlled rate. This system has had a significant impact on flood control in Tokyo. Since its completion, it has reduced flood damage in the city by an estimated 90%. In economic
Ona. Na kazi itaendelea vizuri. Watu wa Nairobi watatengeneza tu bado pesa yao, lakini hizo system hatutafika hapo. Itachukua time before tufike hapo. It's not even in the leaders, it's just in us as a person. Mimi na wewe. Unless sisi tuache kuwa corrupt, hatutafika system kama hii. Tutakuwa tu tunaionea tu kwa TV tu.
terms, it's estimated to have saved billions of yen in potential flood damage. But it's not just about the numbers. For the residents of Tokyo, especially those in low-lying areas, the flood tunnels have provided a sense of security that was previously lacking. Imagine being able to sleep soundly during a typhoon, knowing that this massive underground system is working tirelessly to keep your home dry. The impact extends beyond just flood prevention. The tunnels have allowed for more efficient urban planning and development in areas that were previously considered high-risk flood zones. It's opened up new possibilities for Tokyo's growth and resilience. Like any major infrastructure project, the Tokyo flood tunnels have faced...
And believe it or not, we have so many people who will be willing and ready to work hapa hivi. So many people najua. Watu wengi sana watakuwa willing and ready kuwork kwa kitu kama hii, kwa plant kama hii. But tutaifika hapa. Akili ni hapa, lakini morals zetu si za hapa. Akili yetu ni hapa, akili iko hapa. Lakini morals haziko hapa.
Face their share of challenges and criticisms. It's not all smooth sailing, or should I say, smooth tunneling. First and foremost is the cost. The initial construction cost a staggering 230 billion yen, about $2 billion. And that's not including ongoing maintenance costs.
Tulia tu kiasi, kuna kitu nataka kuangalia. Ili cost how many? 2 billion nini? 2 billion US dollars. Something I need to check right quick. How much was Talanta Stadium estimated okay. Bruda, ini stadium tumetengeneza na 344.5 million US dollars. Approximately ngapi? 44.7 billion. Stadium tu bro. Stadium yenye itakuwa inatumika every day. Iyo. So inamaanisha tuko na do. Hii ndo pesa imetumika bro. Haya, wajabu kuniambia ni pesa yote imeenda hapo hivi. Hapa niko sure hii 44 hii kwanza hii 44 imesanywa. Hii 44 million US dollars hii imekulwa. Straight up wamemanga hiyo do. Jokers.
The system requires a significant amount of energy to operate, which has led to questions about its carbon footprint. It's a bit ironic. We're combating one environmental issue, flooding, potentially at the expense of another, increased carbon emissions. Additionally, some environmentalists worry about the impact of pumping large volumes of potentially contaminated floodwater into the Etagawa River. Lastly, there's the question of future proofing. With climate change leading to more frequent and severe weather events, whether this massive system will be enough to protect Tokyo.
Once AFCON imeisha. Alafu pia unajua tutakuwa blended na hiyo hype ya AFCON. Na kila mtu anataka kwenda kuona stadium. Hata mimi nikoshwa nataka nene nione hiyo stadium. Hiyo hype ikishaisha tunarudi tu back to mali tulianzia tu.
In the coming decades, the tunnels have even become something of a tourist attraction. Guided tours of the underground temple are available when the system isn't in operation. It's become a unique way for people to understand and appreciate the infrastructure that keeps their city safe. Looking to the future, there are plans to enhance and expand.
Cause hata nimekumbuka tu swali hapa hivi. By the way, kuna mtu aliuliza, yes, Sakaja wata demolish hizo buildings, hizo ziko za riparial areas ama inaitwaje, hizo ziko karibu na river, si ndio? Once they demolish them, hizo mawe, hizo mchanga, hizo kokoto, whatever, hizo chuma nini, sizitajipata tu bado zimebaki hapo hivyo, ama kuna mali zitapelekwa after zimedemolishiwa. And what do you think goes back to the river? Si hizo tu uchafu zenye maacha hapo hivyo, ama Sakaja.
The flood control system. One exciting development is the integration of AI and IoT technologies to predict and manage flood risk.
Hiyo 44 alishakula. Hiyo kwanza tu iliingia hivi kila mtu akajua hii ni pesa ya wadosi, mataikun. Walijua 344 bro. So unamaanisha budget ya kujenga stadium ni 250 million. Hapana bro. So wameandika 344. Unamaanisha yani wameweka nini sasa ni 245 million. Hapana bro, si 344. So unamaanisha yani tuko na 200 million dollars ya kutengeneza stadium kwanza. Hiyo ndio pesa yenyewe imetolewa kutengeneza. Okay. Mafala wanaanza kugawana hiyo do. On top of that unajua hizo pesa zote wamekuwa kikuliza. Mimi nashindwa watu wanapeleka gapi hizo pesa msi. Like they have too much money bro, mingi. Wanataka nini na hii pesa haki? Sometimes I think they just do it for the love of the game. Because it can't be something is off now ase. Because hiyo pesa yote uko nayo bro, mimi nakwambia 44 million US dollars Kenya. Kwanza sahau kufanya kazi any other day of your life. Huyo ni wewe. Familia yenyu yote, waambie wote wataingia kazi for how many years. Wacha, umeretire your whole lineage for some time. They steal that. Bado wanaiba zingine juu. Bado, kwani ya watu.
risks more effectively. Imagine a system that can anticipate flooding before it happens and automatically adjust its operations accordingly. There are also discussions about expanding the tunnel network to cover more areas of the city. While these plans are still in the early stages, they show a commitment to continually improving Tokyo's flood defenses. Researchers are also looking into ways to make the system more...
Si hapa, sinakaa tu same na Kibera. Ukiangalia ile image tuliona jana. Jana kuna image ilionesha live. Sisi zinakaa tu kwa Kibera residents. Na Mukuru kwa nini? Sinakaa tu the same. Same tu. Ama? Mimi sioni tofauti kubwa by the way. Nivetu hizi nyumba tunaona. Mimi kwangu inakaa tu same. Si mabati tu, ni mabati kazi zile zingine.
Environmentally friendly. Ideas include using renewable energy to power the pumps and finding ways to filter and clean the water before it's released back into the river system. While we've been focusing on Tokyo's impressive flood control system, it's worth noting that flood risks are a global concern, and recent events have highlighted the urgent need for innovative solutions worldwide. Take, for example, the devastating floods caused by Hurricane Milton in Florida in October 2024. Hurricane Milton brought unprecedented rainfall to Florida, with some areas receiving up to 18 inches of rain. Severe flooding that overwhelmed existing flood control measures, leading to record-breaking river levels and over 1,000 water rescues. The Hillsborough River and Cypress Creek shattered previous flood records, and the slow-draining St. Johns River reached major flood stage across multiple counties. Now, you might be thinking, could a system like Tokyo's flood tunnels have helped in Florida? And that's a great question. While every region has its unique geographical challenges, the principles behind Tokyo's flood control system could certainly be adapted for other flood-prone areas.
I'm not saying we build something like this exactly, but we can just find a way to incorporate kitu kama hii system. Tunaweza pata njia ya kuifanya in a way yenye inaweza kwa bado inoperate tu vizuri. Seti tujenge kama hii exactly, but si obvious wakikuja the expert watakuja angalie, okay, Kenya mko na nini ama Nairobi mko na nini, landscape yenu inakaaje, capability mnaweza chukua ni gani na gani na kuja ifanyike. It's capable, it's possible, yani it's possible.
Around the world. Imagine if Florida had a network of underground tunnels and reservoirs to divert and store excess water during hurricanes. It could potentially reduce the strain on rivers and drainage systems, minimizing flood damage and protecting communities. Of course, it wouldn't be an exact copy of Tokyo's system. Florida's geology and climate would require a tailored approach. But it's not just Florida that could benefit from such a system. Think about other flood-prone regions. For example, Bangladesh, a low-lying country frequently affected by monsoon floods. A network of underground channels could help manage excess water from the numerous rivers that crisscross the country. The Netherlands. Already a pioneer in flood control, they could potentially enhance their existing systems.
And Sakaja had the nerve, had the gauze, had the balls kutuambia, you know Nairobi was built under a swamp, right? Nairobi used to be a swamp, right? So if you know all these things, na umeishi Nairobi miaka yako yote, so unafaa kuweka vitu in place. Zikwe ready to combat your situation in case kitu inanikasirisha, man.
With underground reservoirs to complement their famous dikes and levees. Venice, Italy. As the city battles rising sea levels, an adapted version of Tokyo's system could help manage flooding during high tides and storms. New Orleans, United States. A city that is still recovering from the impact of Hurricane Katrina, they could explore underground water storage as an additional layer of protection alongside its levee system. Of course, implementing such systems would be a massive undertaking, requiring significant investment and engineering expertise. However, as climate change continues to increase the frequency and severity of extreme weather events, these kinds of innovative solutions may become increasingly necessary. The recent floods in Florida serve as a stark reminder that our current infrastructure in many parts of the world may not be sufficient to handle the challenges of a changing climate. As we've seen, this project is not without its critics or challenges, but there's no denying the impact it's had on the safety and peace of mind of Tokyo's residents.
I just hope Kenya tunaweza fika hapo hivyo, but itakuwa ngumu sana. Itakuwa very hard. Kenya tufike hapo hivyo as a nation, as a people. Itakuwa rahisi. Kwa sababu literally there's nothing in place to make sure tunaweza fika mahali kama hapa. Unanipata? Mr. Sakaja. Should we go back to Sakaja? Me, I'm done listening to this motherfucker, to be honest. Sawa. Now, there was this thing I wanted to show you. You copy? Yeah. You see how there was... see hapa.
Work today is broken. We're all...
Shut up. Hii hapa nilikuwa nataka kuonesha. So you know earlier nilikuwa na complain about nini? Mama Lucy.
Healthcare in Kenya is complex with plenty of unknowns. It is not just a straightforward matter of healing the sick. Getting healthcare can be a matter of life or death. Far too often, it becomes a battle against systems, against greed, against those who are meant to save you, but who are only interested in helping themselves.
Yeah.
The child was referred, but the ambulance transferring the child from Kajiado diverted them to the private facility, Abian Hospital in Isli.
Sheria yenu yenye nasema hakuna kuona mtoto bila kutoa pesa.
3 months ago, these words shook the nation. This is Esther Olavu, a young mother who claims her baby was detained when she could not pay the bills. But to understand Vikram's story, we must go back to where it all began. I must caution you though, baby Vikram's story is far more complex than one family's pain.
A hospital can set aside 100,000 shillings.
The mask. The mask.
That meeting 10 ambulance providers. Then a meeting is called and a discussion is held with the aim of forming a partnership that will end up with these ambulances taking referred patients to that particular hospital.
Priscilla unauliza, ama gavana wetu wanashindangwa ametravel abroad, hawasikiangi aibu. No, they just don't care. They are heartless. Sawa? I remember Nakuru governor, madam, alifake ati yako na sijui ni mimba, mara akafake ati ni mgonjwa, kumbe she was living in America. Sijui alikuwa na live Atlanta ama wapi. For some time, she was not seen in a county. Literally governor hajaonekana county yake sijui for almost 2 months, 3 months. Alafu, the women... Nakumbuka hiyo siku Gladys Wanga, huyu matako kubwa anaitwa nani, Millicent Omanga, nani dema anaitwa nani pia, Catherine sijui nani Nyamu, wote they went and they covered up for her. Akasema yes she was sick, yes alikuwa na mimba and unfortunately amepoteza mimba, knowing very well madam hakuwa anataka kukaa kaunti yake, anatumia pesa ya watu yenye watu wanalipa kama tax, anaenda kuishi nao nchi ya nje. Yeye nchi yake anaacha kikata kataka, yeye anaenda kukaa nchi ya nje huko hivyo. And no one did anything to her. No one questioned her. Hiyo story watu walikuja kai sweep under the rug. You see? So it's a na bado akuje mkutano unamwangalia tu ndio ule mimi naweza tupa mawe kubwa hapo hivyo, hata si jokes. Mimi naweza tupa kidi moja hapo hivyo mbaya sana. Hata gari yake tuchome. Biashara zake zote tuvunje. Kwa hizo biashara zisaidiagi mtu yote. Hawa watu wanakuanga make everything in place to help them, not us, because they don't give a fuck about us. Shameful. Shameful. I wanted to show you this documentary because the other day, by now, all of us, most of us, we know the situation that happened with that mother. Alienda kwa ile duka pharmacist. Alafu Madam Mapengo akona sijui meno 13, unanipata, akampatia dawa ya skin instead of kumpatia dawa ya macho. Na huyu ni professional, mind you, professional mwenye alienda shule akasomea upharmacist, amesomea hadi anafaa kuwa anajua kazi yake, anaenda anapatiana dawa mbaya. Sasa barabing barabum, macho za mtoi zime kwa blind. She went back. Zile za like the mother alienda ni kama anajabu kusu. Alikuwa anataka sasa asaidike kwa sababu sasa situation imekuwa daya. And now she's like, I need you guys to do something. Kwa sababu sami mtoi wangu waoni. Hii lawama, hii mzigo, itabaki ni mimi nimebeba. Tunafanya aje? This pharmacist had the nerve to tell her. Ati wewe unajuaje madhe ulifanya makosa kwenda kutuanika kwa mtandao. Kwanza enda urab hizo vitu ulisema kwa mtandao na ukuje tukusaidie. Mind you, inaonyesha ni medical emergency. Kumbuka the guy stole 11 billion za SHA zilipotea tu. Akaambiwa retire, akauliza why. Ni mbaya.
This is Vikram King, once full of life, full of promise. Born in 2024 in Loitoktok, Kajiado County, his family knew him as a playful, innocent child. He was the joy and pride of the family, brightening a homestead with his everyday jovial mood. However, a complication had been detected shortly after birth.
Nilipojifungua huyo mtoto ilikuwa date.
Amezaliwa June. Unajua pia mimi nakwanga June baby. Amezaliwa same month na mimi.
16 June 2024. Baada ya kumwangalia nikaona kuna shida katika sehemu yake ya kukojoa. Nikaona hayuko kama boy wengine wenye wanakuaga. Na sasa akaniambia tutampeleka kwa daktari wa surgery, tutampeleka aende akamwangalie, atuambie nini tatizo. Daktari akamwangalia, akasema hiyo ni kawaida, huwa wanazaliwa hivyo. But wakifikisha 1 year wanapelekwa operation, wanafanywa surgery.
Haswa shida ilikuwa ni nini uliona tofauti?
Niliona tofauti kozi watoto vijana wakizaliwa wanazaliwagwa hiyo ngozi inakuwa imefunika ile nini kabisa. Yeye ngozi yake ilikuwa wazi hapa mbele, haijafunika. Daktari akamwangalia akaniambia unaona hata shimo yake baada ya kuwa hapa mbele iko na hapa hivi chini. So ilikuwa itahamishwa hapa chini iwekwe hapa mbele. Hiyo tu ndio ilikuwa shida, but mtoto alikuwa anakojoa vizuri, hakuwa na shida yoyote, hakuwa isumbuka kukojoa. Ni ile tu nasema wacha juu daktari amesema inarekebishwagwa, wacha tu nitapeleka aende akarekebishwe.
Ulavu was advised to wait for a year and she was patient. In July 2025, baby Vikram turned 1 and doctors at Loitoktok Sub-County Hospital gave the go-ahead for him to undergo a corrective procedure for condition he was born with. However, something had gone wrong. As hours passed, Ulavu's worry grew. No one was telling her what was happening. Doctors at Loitoktok Sub-County Hospital needed to operate on baby Vikram. He was diagnosed with hypospadias, a birth defect where the opening of the urethra is on the underside of the penis rather than at the tip. Normally, if left untreated, it can lead to complications later in life. This condition needs surgery to correct it. The routine surgical procedure initially went well, but there were serious complications. The doctor's notes pointed to a reaction to the anesthesia used during the operation, which left Vikram unstable and struggling to regain consciousness, where his body struggled to stabilize, his breathing became weak, and he failed to wake up as expected.
Bruh. This is a tough one for me. Unajua watoto kwangu sipendangi kuona watoto akifanyiwa kitu mbaya, akipitia kitu mbaya. I even had a very good joke about Mboro mtu venye shimo yake ya kuniniko chini ya Mboro, but tuendelee tu, nitasema kesho kutu.
Report stated his condition was still pathological, meaning he had not regained consciousness and needed urgent specialized care. Doctors referred him to Kenyatta National Hospital, a level 6 facility equipped to handle complex cases like Vikram's. He needed advanced care to stay alive.
Au madaktari walisema, mama tafuta 50,000 tupeleke mtoto Kenyatta, ama utafute 100,000 tupeleke mtoto KU. Itabidi tu nitafute hiyo 50.
No man. Sasa ujajipanga unatoa pi 50,000. Hauko sawa unatoa pi 100,000. Mungu wangu.
Laki moja ni ngumu kupata. Wacha nitafute hiyo 50 twende Kenyatta. Ndo akasema KU ni mzuri sana. Si uongezee tu hiyo 50 twende huko KU. Nikamwambia nimekataa peleke KU kwa sababu sina pesa.
Although the referral letter from Loitoktok Hospital directed the patient to Kenyatta National Hospital for advanced care, instead, Vikram and his mother were taken to Abian Hospital, a private hospital in Isili. Vikram's mother believes that what happened to her son was not an isolated incident, but rather points...
Why? What happened? Silikwende Kenya... Shit.
Two deeper systemic gaps within the medical fraternity.
Mtoto alikuwa ameshachoka, hewa ilikuwa inaenda ikikata, imefika 75. Mapigo ya moyo imeshuka, imefika 75. Sasa ikawa tu sina namna. Mtoto ashuke aingie, kwa nini aingizwe ICU haraka? Wale wa madaktari walituambia mtoto akifika ICU atachukua 3 hours amke na mrudi na hiyo ambulance. Hata dereva wa ambulance alikuwa anasema hataenda, atuache mpaka mtoto amke turudi na yeye.
According to the Kenya Health Facility Master Registry, Abian Hospital in Nairobi's Isili area was established in June 2023 and was registered in December 2024. It is a modest facility with 1 operating theater and 12 inpatient beds.
My name is David Chalo. I'm a control.
Toka hapa na hizo vitu zako natuambia.
The only one involving Abian. Another family in Kariobangi South was fighting a similar battle.
Kwa majina anaitwa Cynthia Gonya Ningu. Mimi ni mkaji wa Kariobangi South. 3rd of June mama alikuwa vibaya sana. Tulita hadi Uba ingeza mbeba juu. Angeza jiweza. Familia ikajikaza ikatutia ambulance. So ambulance ikakuja, okoa ambulance. Wakuja, wakachukua mama.
The ambulance was supposed to take her to Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital, but the emergency medical technicians had other plans.
Tukafika hapo kwa njia wakatuambia kuna hospitali mzuri Isili. Tukishafungua SHA tunalipa 7,800 ya SHA. Ikishatufungulia inalipa 28,000 kila siku. Na tukitoka huko hata tutakuwa na wasiwasi, ni SHA italipa. Nikaongea na familia ikasema ni sawa. Beta huko itatoa 28k. Hiyo at least itatusaidia na mzigo zingine. Na atatoka huko na SHA. Tukamwambia ni sawa tupeleke huko. Hata kwa kutuambia tu sign, hao ndo walifanya kila kitu, hao ndo walimuadmit, hao ndo walifanya kila kitu. Sisi tulikuwa tumekaa. Hata tu kusign commitment nini hatukusign. Wakatupeleka, wakaadmit mama akastabiliziwa kila kitu nini.
While Beatrice was being admitted at Abian, something sinister was unraveling. On her daughter's phone, a string of text messages between Cynthia and a member of the very ambulance team that had taken her mother to Abian Hospital. At a first glance, it seemed like casual follow-up from a concerned person. But one detail stood out over and over. The same question. Not only about Beatrice's recovery, but about...
Can you read the text? Let me read it for you. Good morning, Cynthia. Mama nilalaje. Good morning too. Alilala poa. But bado ako kwa drip. Oh, yeah. Oh, atakuwa sawa. Mliambiwa atafanyiwa biopsy lini? Ama lazima malize kulipa, ama lazima manze kulipa ile deposit. Hiyo hatujaambiwa, ni kama wameanza vitu wa fresh. But wameanza na kupima damu kwanza. So mnafaa kuclear balance bado. Bado tunafaa kulipwa nusu na kesho nusu kulipa. Okay. Hey Cynthia. Aya. Atakuwa sawa. Muli ambao mnafaa kulipa.
About money. Specifically, whether the family had settled the full deposit required for her treatment. The repeated focus on payment rather than treatment raised suspicion. Why would an emergency medical technician, whose role ends once the patient is admitted, be these invested in whether the patient has made the necessary payment.
Yeah, true. Because your job is to drop him there. Your job is not to inquire if he has paid anything. So chances are, hey, the driver ama whoever the hospital are working with, wameconnect na umse. Ni kama umse ni broker. Mtu ambulance ni kama yeye ni broker. Na bado tunataka tu blame Sakaja na unaona watu wanafanya vitu za takataka na maisha za...
Desperate and unable to afford treatment, Beatrice's family was hit with a massive bill that they could not afford.
After 14 days, ndio tunaambiwa tunafai kulipa. Imefika 1 million. 1 million 100 and something thousand. Tunafai kulipa. Hapo ndo saa kizungumkuti ikaanza. Sisi ndio tulikuwa tunakaa tukidhani SHA italipa kila kitu. Sasa nikarudi kwa simu nikauliza hao watu, si mtuambia SHA ndio itatoa mama hiyo hospitali atufai kulipata bili yote.
14 days later, the medical bill rose to more than 3 million shillings. The family turned to the Milimani Law Courts in Nairobi, to which the presiding judge, Justice Lawrence Mugambi, directed that Beatrice's family be allowed to see their loved one and take her to...
Na nikaja pona bado hiyo saa yote.
...another facility. When they finally saw her, the damage was already done.
Ilifika hiyo 1 point, wakakataa tuone mama. Juu bili imesonga, hatulipi. Tukamwambia SHA tulidhani SHA italipa kila kitu 28,000. Wenye tulielezea venye ambulance amesema, akasema hapana, au kuna pesa yenye wanalipa.
But she was not the only one. Winter, not her real name, requested to remain anonymous and declined to appear on camera for this documentary. However,
4 months. Imagine unakaa hosi 4 months. Na umechungwa ni kama jela. Because this is prison.
She shared details of her alleged horrifying experience at Abian Hospital, claiming that she was detained and abused for 4 months because she could not pay her medical bill. Different women, same story. Allegations of a hospital where patients are not treated, they are detained.
Basically exploitation.
At the heart of this story is a woman who says she was trapped with her baby within these walls. For Esther Olavu, Vikram's mother, it was not just about the medical bill. No, it was about the well-being of her son. It was about the recovery of Vikram. Esther had arrived at Abian, not by choice, but allegedly by diversion. She carried with her a referral letter to Kenyatta National Hospital. Yet, she and Vikram were locked inside Abian's ward.
Mwanzo walipomaliza 1 week, tulitoa bili ya 1.3 million. Walipoona hatuna pesa, wakatuambia kuingia hapa ingieni kama visitors wengine. Hakuna kuingia kila
Niko isili.
time. Tukaanza kuingia kama visitors. Mtoto si alikuwa anakula, wao hawa provide food ya mtoto. Ni sisi ndo tunanunua chakula mtoto. Kienda asubuhi, saa 1 asubuhi ndo time ya visit. Saa 1 mpaka saa 2. Kienda asubuhi hiyo saa 1, unaenda wanahakikisha unanunua food ya mtoto mpaka hiyo asubuhi.
Mind you wametoka Kajiado, si watu hiyo area. So hata hao kukaa hapo inawa cost.
Instead of getting better, Vikram's condition worsened. His mother says nurses ignored her cries to properly attend to her son.
Tukienda kuangalia mtoto, tunakuta mtoto wetu anazidi kukauka. Shingo ishaka hivi, hairudi hivi. Mikono haikunjiki hivi. Vidole zimekunja hivi. Kinyosha asinyoki. Ukimguza hapa kwa mgongo kumeshakauka, mabega imekauka, yani anakaa kama amekauka tu karibu mwili yote. Miguu ndo hazikuwa zimekauka, but zilikuwa zimeanza na zenyewe.
The bill soared past 1 million shillings. Esther had no way to pay. According to the medical bill provided to the mother, Vikram was receiving intensive care services, oxygen, nurses at his watch day and night, among other critical services.
Uongo.
Ukiuliza kwa nini mtoto afanyiwe mazoezi, na mwanzo tulipokuja alifanyiwa siku kadhaa, walipoona hatuna pesa wakaona hawataendelea kumfanyia mtoto matibabu vizuri, ndo akatuita akatuambia, si mliambiwa mtoto atakaa muda mrefu bila kuamka, so mnaweza tafuta hospitali nyingine kama yenye mnaona mnawezana na yenyewe.
Mkisha uwa mtoto wa mtu sasa mnataka kumwachilia aende? Are you fucking serious?
Mpeleke, mnaweza tafuta hospitali ya serikali. Tukamwambia tutatafuta hospitali ndio, na pesa tutatoa wapi ya kukulipa ndo tuchukue mtoto. Akasema malipo iko ya aina nyingi, tunaweza andikiana title, na hiyo title iko ya Nairobi.
Title deed reminds me of that guy mwenye alipoteza lori zake za 20 million mbili just because alipatiwa loan ya ilikuwa 2 million ama. Hey, just a scamming nation.
Ama tuandikiane logbook, na hiyo logbook iko ya gari ya V8.
The child was referred to Kenyatta National Hospital, but the ambulance transferring the child from Kajiado diverted...
It was only after the media raised an alarm that Esther's story came to light.
Now the child is fighting for his life in ICU without parental care, as the hospital has barred the parents from seeing the child until they pay a bill of 3 million shillings.
Under public pressure, the Kenya Medical Dentist Practitioners Council, KMPDC, became involved in the baby Vikram matter, and the baby was released. An ambulance rushed Vikram and his mother to Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital. The ordeal had already taken its toll. This case forces us to ask how many more families allege they have faced a similar situation at Abian Hospital, raising questions about the conduct of some medical practitioners. Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, guarantees that every person has the right to the highest attainable standard of health, which includes the right to healthcare services. But is this the case? At first, it was impossible to get answers from Abian Hospital how Vikram ended up in their facility. However, behind the veil of silence, we knew there was something more sinister, so we kept digging.
Ule mtu wa taxi ndio broker, ndo nafanze kushikwa.
To understand how referrals are meant to work in Kenya's health system, we saw the insights of Dr. Boniface Opondo, a general medical practitioner.
Picking my patient, there are normally two ways. Number one, it's either we have an ambulance as a referring facility, which will dispatch to the receiving facility, and they're going to go with the referral note, plus the person that I was in contact with. So that's a proper referral process, but it all just lies in documentation and information.
Dr. Opondo's highlights are backed by official records which indicate Abian Hospital is a level 3 health facility, while Loitoktok Hospital is classified as a level 4 by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Council. The regulator of medical practice and health...
Unatolewa grade 7, unapelekwa grade 3, alafu unaambiwa hiyo ni inafaa kwa improvement. Kai Mungu.
Facilities in Kenya confirms it. Vikram was diverted downwards from a higher level hospital to a lower one, a move that defies both logic and policy. One source after another confirmed the story, but it was one insider who shared with us how some facilities incentivize the practice to redirecting patients against the established policy.
These upcoming hospitals have agreement with EMTs that if you pick a patient, you transfer or you convince the patient to come to us. So when the patient comes to our hospital, they appreciate you. They give you a token. So the patient who...
Told you, ni broker. Yani watu wanacheza na life yako like it's nothing, all for money. Mpesa tu.
Supposed to move from hospital A to B, as an EMT, I convince the patient or a family member to go to the hospital that I will get a token.
A system built on commissions, on lies, on holding patients hostage.
The agreement is we get a call. Yeah, the discussion will be, hu tutampeleka wapi? Unaona, where will we take this patient? and then you assess the
Imagine all that, hiyo discussion wanaifanya wakiuko hivyo mbele kwa ambulance. Unanipata? Hii discussion wanafanyia mjuu, nyinyi mko huko hivyo mnataka mnaenda kutibiwa. Mnadhani ni emergency yenyu mnaenda kuona kwa daktari. Kumbe wako pale mbele wana discuss about your state of health. Tomba watu.
financial situation of the family. Can they buy to our story? Can they listen to us? You look at the one that is emotionally connected to the patient, then this is the person you target and keep talking to. In the process, if I come with a patient, it is either we split the token 50-50 between the EMT and the driver. There are different traits. ICU, HDU have different traits.
Meanwhile, we get an update from Ulavu on baby Vikram's prognosis, and the news was heartbreaking.
Nilipokuja KU nilikaa 3 days. Daktari akatuita meeting. Sema tumeangalia, tumeona hiyo brain ni hiyo injury ni kubwa kwa brain, ambapo imesha pahali pa kuona pamekufa, mtoto ataona. Pahali pa kusikia pamekufa, hata sikia. Pahali pa kupumua pamekufa, ndio maana tunaona hapumui na lungs zake ziko sawa na hawezi pumua mwenyewe. Pia kupumua hataweza, imepata injury. Pahali pa kutembea, pahali pa kukula hataweza kukula huyo mtoto. Yaani hakuna chochote kile kwa mwili yake kitafanya.
Listening to Lavu, I could tell that the mother of 3 was pained by the revelations. We sought to speak to the individuals mentioned in Beatrice's case.
Niaji Marlon, poa sana. Bro, nimemiss ikus tangu.
Who allegedly redirected her to Abian Hospital where she was mistreated. So Cynthia shared a contact of one of the individuals that she says misled them from going from the hospital of their choice to Abian Hospital, which is in Isili. So I'm going to call the individual just to hear her side of the story. I'm calling to ask about an incident back in June 3rd this year.
Yes.
Where you picked up patients in Kariobangi by the name Beatrice.
The patient was taken to a facility called Abian Hospital in Pangani.
Abian Hospital?
Yes.
According to the family and the details I have, they had requested to be taken to a different hospital. So
yes.
How did they end up in Abian?
They were to go to Mbagathi.
Mm-hmm.
I called Mbagathi.
Yes.
With the daughter as my witness, and Mbagathi.
Bro, something controversial. Naita kama saganistic. But mchikiwewa madem ni evil. Huo ni dem. Huo ni dem. Mwenye alikuwa na skimi kitu yote ni dem. Si boys. Dem. Tafakari hiyo.
They say they cannot handle the patient.
Mm-hmm.
Called KNH because the patient was to go for a procedure at KNH.
Mm-hmm.
KNH, they say they have their ICU beds full because according to my assessment, the patient was not to go home.
Stop the cap, you fucking liar.
To go to the hospital and then go back home. She was to be admitted for an ICU.
Okay.
Then they had a relative that was working at KU.
Mm-hmm.
The relative told us to proceed to KU without calling. We are going to find him there.
Yes.
When we started going to KU,
Mm-hmm.
on our way to KU, the gentleman called back and told us to go to Abian Hospital themselves. I have no idea of that.
Are you part of the team? Maybe.
Which team?
Of misleading patients?
No. We take patients where they want to go.
That is unprofessional if it happened. That is not our policy. That is not
na inakuanga hivyo. Let me just be honest with you. Wadosi wanajuanga kazi yao inafaa kufanya vile inafaa kufanywa, lakini wafanyi kazi, they're never diligent in their works. They're never diligent in their works. Na sijui tulikuja tukaanza kuabudu pesa hivi aje. Because na ana conscience. The chick knows, anajua alidanganya. Jua ni Angaria Mawanjiru, anajua alidanganya. She knows. Alikohas ule patient waliona sumachikedo wamepatiana plan, wanatafuta ule ako attached sana na mgonjwa, wanaona ako vulnerable kidogo. Nasikia mami aki pole, niko na hospitali nyingine najua itakutibia mama yako poa, na uko na facility zote mama, aki ni trust tu. Akoza na iko tu hapa karibu, aki mama niamini tu, the sisterhood. Akoza ni demu mwenzangu yenye ananielewa, kumbe ajua anacheza na shetani, anaenda kumdanganya and take advantage of her. Useless people.
If you pick a patient from home, these patients have the right, they give the hospital of choice. You want to go to KU and they will take you to Abian? No.
It pains me to see vulnerable families being exploited in the hands of professionals, and I think this is something that needs to be worked into. We need to review or revise our oath when we came from training, so at least we know we are there for the patient and the patient relies on us 100%.
There's a TikTok of this nurse. Okay? This nurse, number 1, she hates men. Number 2, she's a lesbian. Iyo, sijua anaitwaga nini, naitwaje? Iwa dine queer garbage, hizo takataka. Number 3, she's suicidal. Sawa? Okay? Mtu kama huyo, una-expectenda kupatia services mzuri zenye zitakusaidia. Ni queer, lesbian, already unachika kona inaitwaje? Sexual dysphoria, yani ni mtu ajielewi, hata juu sexuality yake ni gani, hata juu. Number 2 ni feminist, na si hata ni feminist atile ati ile like equality, ni ile kuchukia wanaume. So already unajua anachukia wanaume. Unanipata? Number 3 ni mtu wako suicidal. Hiyo TikTok unafaa muone. Sijui hata nitawekea nini yangu. Chana uonekana nitawatafutia hapa hivi nisiwaambie tu muone ni kama Big Bad na nini. Achaga hiki tuendelee kucheza nikiwatafutia.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council announced a move to regulate emergency services. All EMTs and ambulance providers, public and private, were ordered to register with the council with a deadline set for 15th September 2025 to act. The KMPDC statement explains that the move was meant to standardize, support and enhance the quality of pre-hospital healthcare. A new directive in place, already some families remained unprotected. And for Esther and Cynthia, the damage was already done.
Mtu amekufa man. Mtu amekufa.
After weeks of tracing families, piecing testimonies together and uncovering the practice of diversions and detentions, we sought answers from the hospital at the heart of it all, Abian Hospital in Isili. On paper, this should be a well-established facility, and given the cases of patients being diverted there, we expected to find a proper, well-equipped hospital. However, this level 3 hospital is located within a rented space. How many days? The hospital's management agreed to an on-camera interview, saying it was time to clear the air surrounding the allegations, which they claim have deeply damaged the facility's reputation.
Before this incident, we were level 4 and still we are. But because of the ongoing investigations, the facility has been downgraded.
Anakaa tu mkora huyu. Anakaa tu mtu anaweza bet na anaweza gamble na life ya mtu amwambie wewe leta tu fanya hivi Aria wewe leta. Na basi unajua wewe tunamaliza wewe leta tu Aria. Taeke bari yake leta. Sikona siwasi leta.
The management of the hospital insisted the facility does not detain patients. Neither does it influence ambulance diversions, and that every admission follows legitimate medical channels.
We receive a call. Can you offer these services? Yes. Is bed available? Yes. Proceed. If I may take an example again, you found yourself in Abian Hospital. Day 1, day 2, day 3. If you're not contented with the services, number 1, we offer bills daily. That's the regulation. If you're not contented with the services, If you're not contented with the billing, there's an option for referral.
Maybe you could watch that clip. Showing Omar the video clip of one of the patient allegedly assaulted inside a Bian, he had this response on the issue.
Self-inflicted because ni mimi nili.
Sikia. Sinaambia ni mtu mkora, ajali juu ya maisha ya watu. Self-inflicted aje. Kwani anaweza jigwa reva, anyway ni dem pia wezi ya trust, lakini niko sure kujiekezo mauo. Wanajua kitu walifanya na yeye.
Kwa hapa.
And as for the mounting allegations of diversion, collusion and patient detention, the management dismissed it all as part of a bigger business rivalry.
And still as a facility, and every mfanyikazi wa hapa ndani, every worker is 100% aware that this is more of political than the fact.
Sikia, political, surely. Fuck off. Na mtoto wa mtu mimi naweza chomea hospitali wala. Na kuja tukufesi wote ndani. Sitakubali.
Concerning alleged exaggerated medical bills, the facility's management said the following as a response.
The client is under treatment, ABCD, but we give the client the bill. There is an agreement form that they sign. Do you want to pay the bill daily? Do you want to pay it weekly? Do you want to pay it monthly? Or do you want to pay it upon discharge? So most clients choose upon discharge. Okay? And we are not, it is not something si kitu mgeni kwetu. It is the outcome of human beings. Lack of appreciation. I'm sure
yani na mtu tu ana balls tu na ana guts kuongea hivyo. Because deep down anajua kuna kitu anaweza fanyiwa na mtu yoyote. Fuck off.
Not have referred this baby if there was something that they could manage conservatively without using a machine. They could have just retained the baby because nobody likes to refer their complication, by the way. Because you see, a head CT scan was done here at KU that said hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. You see.
What does that mean?
And it just means the brain was lacking oxygen.
There was more to interpret from the medical reports.
I'm saying, from the complaint, it's also being captured that actually this baby had a cardiac arrest. Like the baby literally died twice.
When we first met Esther, it was here in Nairobi. She had left her home in Kajiado, clinging to hope that her son Vikram could be saved. But despite doctors' efforts, despite her prayers, despite the public outcry, Vikram succumbed while undergoing treatment after suffering a cardiac arrest. After our visit to Esther,
Uni patient wa pili anachukuliwa.
We reached out to Cynthia via WhatsApp yet again. Another devastating message. After weeks of alleged abuse, neglect, and mounting bills at Abian, her mother was finally transferred to Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital. But her body gave up, and she passed away. At the center of this expose are two hospitals, Abian Hospital and Loitoktok Sub-County Hospital. It has been months since the incident of baby Vikram happened. I want to call the management of Loitoktok Sub-County Hospital and just to hear from them if any investigation or a follow-up has been made on this particular matter.
Acha tumalize alafu naonesha ule dem nawaambia. Ule dem nawaambia like ule nurse.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is William. Yes, I am following up on the issue of baby Vikram.
If you need information about a patient, you have to come to the hospital.
Yes.
And that is the only way you can get information for patients.
So in light to our conversation with the med superintendent of Loitoktok Sub-County Hospital, I'm going to write him a text message to request for a formal and an on-camera interview and to see if he will agree to it and respond to some of the questions that we have.
He will not.
We are here to get a feedback from Loitoktok Medical Superintendent. Further, in pursuit of accountability, we reached out to all key authorities entrusted with Kenya's healthcare oversight, including the Ministry of Health, the Kenya Medical...
But what happened to the driver of the ambulance and that woman who wenye walikuwa nafanya naye pamoja?
Practitioners and Dentist Council, and through detailed letters, we sought clarity into Abian Hospital and the case of baby Vikram King. While the Ministry of Health remained silent on our request, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Council responded confirming that they had launched a comprehensive investigation into the referral and treatment of baby Vikram at Loitoktok Hospital and the alleged diversion from Kenyatta National Hospital to Abian Hospital. The council termed such diversion as a grave ethical violation and confirmed that both facilities remain under active investigation. It further reaffirmed that detaining patients of unpaid bills is illegal, unethical, and unconstitutional. 2 lives lost despite these
Natetea mademo gani? Mdem gani nimetetea?
serious allegations. Abian Hospital remains opened. Vikram succumbed while undergoing treatment after suffering a cardiac arrest. Months later, we traveled by road to Kajiado, to a mother's home.
Atipoli patikana hivyo, ulikuwa inakoma buda? Neshi, pia ulikuwa inakoma?
Now filled with silence.
Alikuwa tu sawa, maana nikamchange paka diaper, nikamuomba nurse hiyo usiku juu hakuwa na ruhusu tumchange, nani mama amchange diaper, ni alikuwa anamchange. Sasa tulipoenda home kesho sasa 6 asubuhi nasi akapiga simu. Hai, inaweza kuwa ni hali.
Hii ni Kenya. Kenya hakuna ati sijui nursing, ati medical department nini. Wala wajali.
Mtoto kweli ama kuna habari nyingine. Tukajitayarisha tukatoka hiyo 6:30 tukatoka. Mzee akaingia kwanza akaniacha mimi nje. Alipoingia sasa ndo akakuta hiyo taarifa kwamba mtoto amepumzika. Akitoka hapa nyumbani, Vikram alikuwa ni mtoto mzuri mwenye afya zake, hakuwa na shida yote ya mwili. Hata kama ningejua kuna hii kitu ingeenda kutokea, ningemwacha tu, sasa angekuwa tu sawa. Alitoka akiwa vizuri, anaongea vizuri, amechangamka vizuri. Kurudi ndo amerudi akiwa kwa jeneza.
Ibada hii fupi kwa maombi. Wewe jipe tu moyo, maana hii ndio njia ya kila mmoja. Sawa sawa Hivyo ni vizuri kujipatia moyo na kujiuliza, mimi nimejipanga aje siku yangu ikifika? Labda
Pastor nyamazi, ananiudhi. Pastor nyamazi. Hii ndio njia kila mtu. Njia kila mtu na ameuliwa tu hospitali. 1 year ago.
Itaondoka namna gani?
At the beginning of this documentary, we said that in Kenya, healing has become a privilege and how costly that privilege can be. But it does not have to remain this way. Healthcare is not a favor, it is a right. It is time the government invests and strengthens public healthcare, where every Kenyan, rich or poor, can access all essential services under one roof without fear of death or detention. The question now is not who failed, but who will fix what's broken, where mothers bury their children and where children bury their mothers.
That's very tough. That was a tough watch. Bado. Tasikia mtu anasema ni sijui Sakaja. The surgeon fighting Kenyans. Endometriosis. Endometriosis, hiyo nini? Sitaki kuona. Sasa, RIP to the young king. My condolences to the family. Chukulia afya yako serious. Sisemi utapitia the same thing, but sao Duale ndo CS wetu wa nini afya. Duale ignorant motherfucker, ni Msomali tu kama huyu hapa. Hawa watu unaona hawajali jua maisha watu wengine, kasi za watu wao na wengine wana ikaga hivi close watu wengine wa nje. Nani anajua mse this guy here?
Away from politics to that story you've been waiting for. Tonight, KTN has exclusively obtained chilling CCTV footage detailing how former Kasipul Member of Parliament, the late Charles Ongondo Were, was trailed, shadowed, and ultimately gunned down by his assailants on April 30th, 2025. As our crime journalist Lennox Sengre reports, the MP's own bodyguard, Alan Omondi Ogola, allegedly met with the killers before and on the very day of the attack to plan how to execute the MP's murder. Take a look.
Oh, ini ile kesi fulani ilifanyika last year. Nakumbuka kesi vizuri. Where we were like, ni bodyguard wake alimseti ama si bodyguard wake alimseti. Nini yake lizeti. Ay. Unaona? Watu wana wivu. Buda hata voting card itasaidia. Voting card itasaidia. Koza watu wanakuwaga na maneno maneno matamu hivi. Wanakuwaga nazo before wavotiwe. Yani hivi. Ulimi itakwambia everything. Hadi uamini. Unajua hapa usaidizi naenda kupata. Hapa tunatoa wale watu wabaya. Tunawaondoa watu wabaya. Bro, kumbe kuna mtu mzuri hapa nje.
The horror of April 30th, 2025 remains fresh, raw and too haunting to be forgotten nearly a year later. That Wednesday, the Kasipul MP, Charles Ongondo Were, stepped into his day unaware that he would breathe his last. According to the prosecutors, betrayal had already crept into his inner circle, who are now...
Kuna madilisikia ati bodyguard na wife. Bodyguard alikuwa na dinyo mse bibi. Ama ilikuwa tu rumors.
Accused of handling Ongondo over to his killers. Blow by blow,
sikia mtati ulimi kazi yake ni kulong. Focus, Buddha, focus.
Extraction from more than 1,000 CCTV footage recovered from Parliament Building, Standard Building, Valley Road Motors, Ruby's Petrol Station in Haligam, and cameras mounted along Parliament Road, Harambe Avenue, Kenyatta Avenue, City Hall Way to Abera Street. The surveillance trail paints a chilling picture. What first appeared to be a routine city movement now resembles a carefully mapped pursuit that culminated in the killing of the MP. Footage investigators say captures crucial moments, including alleged interaction between the MP's bodyguard and the suspected killers minutes before the fatal shooting. And nearly a year later, the question...
Nangali, I'm looking at my likes. Nimenotice niko na 96 likes. Nimenotice niko na 96 likes. Nimenotice niko na 96 likes. So mebakisha only 204 likes. Sawa. So please share the live mali unaweza share. Watu wakujua watch on this side. 300 likes. Itoki hapa until nipige 300 likes. So we might be here for a while. So brace yourself.
Questions remain heavy. Who planned it? Who executed it? Those final irreversible moments, who betrayed the Kasipul legislator in his final hour.
It's like I'm in a dream world because I spent the whole afternoon with him. We went together for tea, came back, sat again in Parliament, and I left him at around 7. To be called by my driver, through his driver, that your friend has been shot and he's dead.
It appears that this assassin or assailant was trailing the car from town.
Imeanza kaa movie. Ongodo's final hours. Ongogo's final hours. 30th 04/2025.
On the morning of April 30th, 2025, at exactly 6:39 a.m. at the Parliament Building, on the fateful day, the MP was assassinated. Ongondo can be seen casually dressed in a reddish jersey with a Kenyan label on the front, black and white strip pants and black shoes, arriving at the Bunge Towers aboard motor vehicle registration number KDD 244V. The MP alights and the driver followed him closely while carrying his belongings. Investigators say he was going to the gym, a personal ritual he used to do before business of the day. According to the CCTV, the MP's vehicle spent approximately 10 minutes at the Bunge Towers. The vehicle KDD 244V exited Bunge Towers at 6:48 a.m. At this point, his driver Walter Wino left alone and drove back to their home in Karen.
Hey, Jaruo deshi Karen, yawa, na it's Karen.
The MP had instructed his driver to return the V8 to Karen and leave it there. He then gave further directions for the driver to pick up his son's car, KDM 783A, which
ndo amanuva street bila wasiwasi. Yana watu wasijue movement zake. Wativu wadosi wanachezaga.
is a Toyota Crown. It is in this vehicle that Ongondo will later be shot dead. He feared for his life that morning, prompting him to switch vehicles and use his son's car.
Oh, guy, is it conscience? And you know, maybe the funny thing is, maybe hati yake ilikuwa inamwambia something, ilikuwa inamwambia bro, leo sioni, leo ni kunoma, kuna kitu itafanyika leo, usiende job, usifanye hii, but wengine akaignore.
The MP's driver returned to Parliament at 8:37 a.m., driving a white Toyota Crown into Bunge Towers and parking at Ukulima grounds, unaware that beyond the gates, unseen eyes were already tracking his every move. At 12:43 noon, the Toyota Crown belonging to Ongondo Were pulls out of Ukulima parking. At 15:43 hours, a man who has since been identified as Isaac Kuria alias Kush, believed by the prosecution to be the gunman who pulled the trigger, killing the MP.
Maze Kush na memada mse, Albert Kuria, ama anaitwa nani?
3 hours, a man who has since been identified as Isaac Kuria alias Kush,
Isaac Kuria,
believed by the prosecution to be the gunman who pulled the trigger, killing the MP. Here, he is seen carrying a black sling bag. He alights from the co-driver's door and walks along Parliament Road towards Family Bank. To passerby, he is just another pedestrian in the city. But to detectives reconstructing the final hours of Charles Ongondo Were, this quiet walk would become one of the most chilling frames in a carefully unfolding plot. At 15 hours, the motor vehicle KZ 645Z is driven towards Family Bank, followed by the same motorcycle rider.
Imagine, hawa watu wote wanapita hapa, hawajui watu wameenda hapa kona gano wanaenda kuwa mtu. Kama mtu wa red hapa hivi. Like this guy. Hawa watu hawajui wako na wauaji tu hapa hivi amongst them.
Both motorcycle and the KZ park in front of the cooperative bank. At 15:21:07 KZ 645Z and the motorcycle leave the parking area and proceeds towards Family Bank. At 15:30 hours, the same vehicle, KDM 783A, a Toyota Crown for the MP, is seen parked at the Family Bank opposite to Bunge Towers. The moments that hold slowly and calculative disrupts the life of the second-term member of Kasipul constituency comes at 15:44 hours. The CCTV shows a motor vehicle KZ 645Z, which we have established belongs to an assistant commissioner of police. KTN has established that the
Assistant Commissioner of Police, bro, Gori.
motor vehicle KZ was sold to the police commissioner for 300,000 shillings. On the day Ongondo was to be eliminated, a suspect identified as William Imoli alias Imo allegedly borrowed the vehicle to facilitate the killing. The car can be seen being driven along Harambe Avenue towards Parliament Road in the direction of the Family Bank, followed by a motorcycle rider dressed in a blue reflective jacket, bluish trouser, yellowish shoes and helmet. Motor vehicle KZ 645Z is of significance. Investigators believe it was not just another car, but the vehicle that was transporting MP Ongondo Were's killers with others on the motorbike. At 15:46:47 hours, motor vehicle KZ 645Z leaves the parking area along Parliament Road and Harambe Avenue, makes a round trip through Parliament Lane and returns to Parliament Road. At 15:51:39 hours, motor vehicle KZ 645Z is driven slowly along Parliament Road and parked near the MP's vehicle for approximately 8 minutes.
Wow. Alikuwa anaenda kutoa do, si ndio?
At 15:54:06 hours, the same motorcycle leaves the parking at Harambe Avenue and is ridden past the County Hall gate towards Family Bank.
Imagine saa yote watu wanapiga tu rounds hapo. Watu tu wanazunguka tu hapo saa yote. Just timing. Wanazunguka tu area tu. Timing to scheming. Planning. God damn.
At 15:56:21 hours, CCTV captures a man dressed in a dark outfit, striped jacket and white shoes. His identity remains a mirage. He was never questioned by detectives in connection with the brutal murder of Charles Ongondo. He is seen crossing Harambe Avenue towards Equity Bank, along Parliament Road, where he meets a motorcycle rider. The same rider believed to have been trailing the MP alongside the KZ vehicle. At 15:57, the man in the blackish outfit walks towards Harambe Avenue while carrying a white item. At 15:57:27 hours, motor vehicle KZ 645Z is driven out and parked for approximately 5 minutes, now facing MP Ongondo's vehicle, a Toyota Crown KDM. At 16:03:17, a motor vehicle KZ 645Z is driven and parked for approximately 3 minutes near the protection house. At 16:17:45 to 16:22:33 hours, a man dressed in a checked shirt, blue trouser and brown boots, carrying a black sling bag, alights from the motor vehicle KZ. He crosses Parliament Road towards where the Toyota Crown is parked, spends approximately 2 minutes near the vehicle, then walks back via Cooperative Bank, crosses the road and returns to the vehicle. This is the point where the investigators say Ongondo's bodyguard, Alan Omondiogola, met with the man who is being accused of shooting the MP. At 16:18:19.
But one thing I'll tell you. Wajaluo wanakuwaga na wivu sana. Luo people as a people wanakuwaga na wivu sana. Sawa? Like whenever they see someone at the top, instead of trying to uplift each other, they usually see him as competition. Mjaluo ni mtu atakubaia tei, atakubaia nyama, atakufanyia hizo vitu zote ukaitu hapo hivyo kimsifu. Lakini hata kuinua, mkwende almost to a similar level mali, nyi wote mnaweza buy food pamoja, ama wewe una buy food, mwingine ana buy nyama, mwingine mtu ana buy food, mwingine ana buy tei, mwingine anafanya hautaiona. Wanataka huyo mtu mmoja na baki tu hapo kimsifu milele. Gladly wanafanya hizo vitu. They will literally bring you down. Just so wanaweza baki at the top huko wange dependent on them. Yaani ukishinda ngio mwasifu, ushinda muadmire. So that's a very bad trait to notice na wajaka.
18 hours, the motorcycle rider leaves the parking, rides around and returns to Harambe Avenue, parking within Equity Bank parking. At 17:27:02 hours, the same man alights again from the co-driver's door.
Imagine, hawa napiga story, zero situational awareness. Hata mimi siwezi jua, unaona hata urasta. Yeye ajui kitu. Kumbe hapa hivi ndo gani imewekwa bro. Ujui, yani hii Nairobi unatembea tu na tunaenda kuua mtu. Yani basically hawa watu wote hawajui leo kuna MP wao anaenda kwa, it's gonna be his last day on earth.
walks towards Uhuru Highway past the Parliament main entrance. At 17:35:58 to 17:37:04 hours, the same man is captured walking back past the Parliament entrance towards the vehicle.
I'm pretty sure by this time the bodyguard anamwambia haya mdosa karibu kutoka, haya mdosa karibu, haya mjiposition, mjieke hapa, haya tunaenda hapa, tunafanya hii, hebu kujiangalie hiyo.
At 17:37:10 hours, the man returns to the vehicle. At 18:17:18 hours, Ngondo's vehicle leaves Family Bank parking and is driven to Kulima parking.
Amerudi kazi.
At 6:35:20, a woman is seen walking from Harambe Avenue towards parking lot where Ngondo's aides were waiting. At 6:37:48, the same woman, dressed in a white outfit in what appears to be a grey sweater, carrying a black bag.
Sinembe dem alienda kamada. I would go off on this bitch. It's going to be Charlie Mseti Akadedi. Lord, isikwenu dem aliseti boys Akadedi, bro. The misogynistic in me tatoka mbaya.
Approaches the security entrance. She briefly speaks with uniformed police officers before being allowed in. She then walks into the parking area where Ongondo's Toyota Crown was parked and stands there for a while. At 6:38:25, a man in a black suit holding a brown envelope approaches her from the right-hand side. He pauses briefly and appears to speak to occupants of a vehicle that is double-parked near the ambulances and adjacent to Ongondo's car. At 6:39 hours, a man wearing a brown trouser, a white shirt and a black coat emerges from Ongondo's vehicle, which had been parked there for the entire time. He briefly speaks with the man carrying the envelope under the nearby tree, while the woman remains standing aside. Shortly afterward, both men join the woman. At 6:27 hours, after several minutes of conversation, the man in brown trouser and the woman board Ongondo's car. The woman then pauses and then walks over to speak to someone in the car that has been double parked next to the ambulances. At 6:52:39 hours, she returns to Ongondo's car. They remain inside the vehicle for several minutes. Between 19:07:03 and 19:07:32 hours, CCTV captures a man in a black suit and a white t-shirt walking from the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. He pauses briefly near Parliament roundabout, then crosses towards County Hall. The man captured here is Alan Omondi Ogola.
Told you Wajaruo, niliwaambia Wajaruo, mkasema wabuda we ni mkabila, niliwaambia Wajaruo.
Bodyguard to slain MP Charles Ongondo Were. In this frame, he appears to be scanning the area. Alleged.
Isn't it funny? Earlier, I've showed you doctors ama nurses wanafanya nini? Wanafanya illegal stuff, like literally nurses wanakuseti uende literally nikatu uenda ukufe. Alafu then on the other hand tunaona bodyguard. Yani watu walienda wakasomea vitu zenye wanafaa kuwa tusao sisi. They are not using it to serve us. They are using it against us. Inaitwa nini malfunction. Nimesahau word. Kuna kitu fulani hapo hivyo. Madaktari wakifanya kitu mbaya against medical malfunction, malnutrition. Nimesahau word. But unacheki. These are the people sisi tunafanya nao kama as a nation. These are the people we are dealing with. Unanipata? But Sakaja ndio mbaya.
Searching for the MP's killers. This time, he missed him and crossed the road. At 19:06:03, the driver walks towards Parliament roundabout for a second.
Thank you for the big super chat. Thank you for the big super chat, Iwana. You appreciated, Maze. You appreciated. Thank you so much. Oh my God, this is Kenya. Wow, beautiful. I'm sorry if someone dies. Hope you hit your goal, BBO. Yes, I will hit my goal. Even if I have to stay here 72 days. I will stay here until I hit 300k. Thank you so for the big super chat. Thank you for the big super chat. Na kwa watu wote pia natuma M-Pesa na appreciate. Just remember to like the video. Remember to share. Tuendele story.
Time. At 19:08:29, the bodyguard crosses back from the county hall side and positions himself under the same tree near Equity Bank.
Neshi, fuck you. Umpo Neshi. Nikianza kusoma story yako ndo unatoa. Ati alikuwa nakubai ati ukiwa broke alafu ukapata doa alafu malnutrition. Malnutrition. So I was right. Malnutrition. Medical malnutrition. Like wanajua they are not supposed to do this, but because they know you are desperate, they are literally just gambling with your life, playing with your life. Those are the nurses. Those are the doctors. Now here we have the security guard, the policemen, the bodyguard who have been paid to protect you. Who have, by the way, these guys have so much perks. By that time, these guys wanakuwa very advantaged. Okay? First of all, they get to access certain areas that us normal people, huwezi access. These people get to access that. They get to have conversation. They get to ingia parliament. Kufanya hizo vitu zote zenye mdosi anafanya. They even go to the extent of umsana waikadi kwa nyumba yake. Bro, me I don't remember the last time I went to Karen. And I know the houses in Karen ni how poor. Umsana is access hiyo nyumba. Only for them to murder you baadaye. Fuck out.
Bank.
Santi Keme Muya.
At 19:08:46, the driver of the vehicle KZ645Z crosses the Parliament Road and meets the MP bodyguard. The bodyguard and the alleged assassin appears to converse. In this moment, the bodyguard is seen meeting individuals believed to be part of assassination plot, barely 20 minutes before the MP was delivered to his killers.
Mungu wangu. We watu oh. I thought it ended a break. Sorry.
At 19:11:41, the bodyguard and the alleged assassin part ways. The bodyguard then walks towards Ukulima via the protection house while appearing to make a phone call. He is visibly in a hurry. MP had signaled for pickup from Parliament, yet the vehicle, its driver and the female passenger were still at the Ukulima parking lot.
That's what make up Osana. Hey, they've been there for a while. I wonder what was happening. If you know, you know. Kingfisher Pantirimu.
At 19:15:34 hours, Ongondo vehicle registration number KDM 783A pulls out of the Ukulima parking lot. The bodyguard runs after it, swings open the co-driver's door and ushers a woman into the very seat the MP would occupy barely 2 minutes later. The vehicle then exits the protection house gate. At 19:15:56 to 19:10 hours, motor vehicle KZ645Z is driven and parked at Equity Bank. At 19:18:51 hours, a motorcycle rider emerges from the trees within Equity Bank parking, wearing a reflective jacket and carrying what appears to be a helmet, and approaches KZ645Z. Driver briefly alights and re-enters the vehicle. The motorcycle rider approaches the driver's window while appearing to converse. At 19:20:00 hours,
I wonder how much money they were paid for this operation. You know? I'm sure it's not a lot of money. Like, it's not too much money. Like, I'm pretty sure even the money, they never got to use it kufanya kitu ya maana. Because ni bodyguard analipa. Bodyguard analipwa nini ya maana hivyo sana to the point he had to take someone's life.
a woman alights from the victim's vehicle outside the gate, after which the vehicle is driven into Parliament through the main entrance.
Juliet, nimeona message yako. Mbona umedelete?
The identity of the woman captured in this frame remains a mystery. She has never been questioned by detectives over her possible link to the brutal murder of Charles Ongondo, or perhaps she was well known to the MP's aides. At 19:23:02, a man with a sling bag alights from the co-driver's door of the motor vehicle KZ645Z and stands on the pavement as he fixes his gaze on the Parliament main entrance. At 19:23:10, Motor vehicle KZ leaves the parking and is driven slowly towards Holy Family Basilica via Parliament Road. At 19:23:30, a motor vehicle KZ is driven slowly past the Senate Museum gate. The late MP is captured on the CCTV conversing with a group of people at the National Assembly lobby, and aware that the danger was drawing near. At 1922,
ndio muuaji wa wivu huyu. Alijiwaste yeye kufanya kitu maana na maisha yake, akapenda up kwa bodyguard alafu anaenda uwa MP.
29, the MP's bodyguard Alan Omondi Ogola meets him.
Jealousy. You can just see the envy in the phone kichwa. Ona kichwa venye na kimebondeka.
Ondo hands over his mobile phone together with what appears to be a set of documents. Moments later, the victim's vehicle approaches the VIP pickup points at the National Assembly. The bodyguard
mchezo gani yo Julie?
Opens the co-driver's door, and MP Ongondo, who later be shot dead minutes later, boards the vehicle, posing to wave at colleagues at Parliament, not knowing this will be his last time and wave in Parliament. The vehicle then departs with the bodyguard entering through the rear left door. The journey began to where his own bodyguard was delivering him to his killers. At 19:23:56, the victim's vehicle exits Parliament Gate. At 19:23:46, the motorcycle rider walks towards where the motorcycle was parked at Equity Bank. According to the CCTV, at 19:24:04, the rider removes the motorcycle from the parking and parks it at the same spot previously occupied by the KZ. At 19:24:22, the motor vehicle departs following the victim's vehicle a few minutes behind towards City Hall on Parliament Roundabout. At 19:23:44, the victim's vehicle passes Museum Gate, followed by the same motorcycle. At approximately 19:26 hours, around the Senate Gate, motor vehicle KZ 645Z makes a U-turn at Museum Gate and follows the victim's vehicle. At 19:26:55 to 19:27:15, Ongondo's vehicle proceeds towards City Hall, followed by the motorcycle and the KZ 645Z. At the Standard Building in Wabera Street now at 19:39 hours, a white saloon vehicle is captured along Wabera Street, followed closely by a motorcycle carrying two assailants. The motorcycle stops a few meters ahead. A male wearing a maroon Marvin cap, whitish long-sleeved shirt, black sling bag, bluish trousers, and brown boots alights and walks past the M-Pesa shop. At the Wabera Street now, a man in a suit who has been identified as the MP bodyguard enters the M-Pesa shop and exits shortly thereafter. The killer, who was already
Hey yo, shit.
Already armed, was marauding within the city, baying for the MP's life. Here, he retreats, making a phone call. At 19:21:24, the suspect returns after Ongondo's bodyguard leaves the shop and boards the vehicle. At 19:21:42, the suspect hurriedly boards the motorcycle, which follows the vehicle beyond the camera's view. At 19:31:02, a white Toyota Crown is captured along Valley Road, followed by a motorcycle carrying 1 pillion passenger, wearing a maroon Marvin cap, black and white checked shirt, and black sling. Wearing a maroon Marvin cap, black and white, carrying 1 pillion passenger, wearing a maroon Marvin cap, black and white checked shirt, and black sling bag. At this point, only one vehicle separates the killers from Ongondo's vehicle.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
This is the time the MP would be shot in cold blood while his vehicle was stopped at the traffic light near the city morgue roundabout along Gong Road. The killers finished Ongondo where there was no CCTV cameras. All the CCTV were dead asleep.
And then at the start of the stream nilionesha venye sahi NTSA imeintroduce CCTV cameras when it mattered most hazikufanya kazi. So isikuwa sasa NTSA they're going to use the CCTV cameras to find drivers breaking traffic rules, yet they should also be using it to capture criminals plotting to kill leaders.
Every lens along the route remained silent, blind to the crime. Were the killers privy to this?
He left, I think, barely 30 minutes before he met his death.
At 1944, 25 motor vehicle which was trailing the MP enters the petrol station parking. The driver lights and is seen making phone calls. Immediately after the MP was shot dead.
Anamwambia buda kazi imeisha. Go to hell. Na kwambia tumeswaga huyo mtu, ilikuwa pajeleshon mzuri sana. Tulizunguka hiyo area saa yote tukingoja ufala. Okelo, unajua ule Okelo bodyguard wake? Okelo ndo ametuletea tuue huyo mtu. Pigwa. Furaha kwa roho yangu. Mimi si hurumiagi mwizi akip. Na furahigi sana. Naona ameongezwa taya hivi. Mafuta inaongezwa lita 200. Anawashwa nasikiaga poa. Because when these people get you, they will not have mercy on you. They will hurt you. And they will steal some very stupid things kutoka kwako. Vitu hata you cannot equate them to the damage wamekufanyia kwa mwili yako. Huwa mwizi. Yo, he left the car there.
At 19:59:23, the driver walks to the road, boards a motorcycle, which is ridden towards Valley Road direction. A white vehicle arrives from Valley Road direction and stops near Ruby's petrol station. At 21:29:59, the driver of the KZ645Z alights from the co-driver's door, carrying a black item, enters his vehicle.
Probably it's the money. Are they together with this other car? Because what's this car doing here? Oh, Uber.
The other white car is driven towards Lenana Road. At 21:30:47, the vehicle KZ leaves Ruby's petrol station and is driven towards Valley Road roundabout.
In Parliament itself also, we saw the MP coming in the morning, dressed up, going to the gym. And several interactions also we saw of the driver of the MP and the bodyguard of the MP interacting with other persons of interest, including a lady who we are yet to know who the person is. The family...
I'm suspecting the lady, either is the girlfriend, I'm suspecting it's the girlfriend of either the driver or the bodyguard. I don't think the lady plotted on killing him. It's just a girlfriend of the one of the two, either the bodyguard or the driver.
Once.
But then again, you can never trust these women, bro. So you never know. Maybe she played a part in killing the guy. Very unfortunate.
To know the motive, the family wants to know what the MP had done to somebody.
It's just pure jealousy. It's not about what the MP did. It's just jealousy. Joluo wanawanga na jealousy ingine serious sana.
That made the person think that the only way to solve the grievance that he had or they had was to kill.
So far, 5 suspects are facing murder charges before Justice Diana Kavetsa. 5 suspects include William Imoli Shigali Elias Imo, Edwin Odur Odhiambo Elias Machuani, Abel Ochieng Elias Dev Kalo, Isaac Kuria Chege Elias Kush, who is the alleged hitman, and Alan Omondi Ogola, the MP's bodyguard charged in connection with the plot.
Pathetic human beings. Shit.
The MP was assassinated in cold blood, with his own bodyguard believed to have handed him over to his killers. However, the Kibra law courts remain the arena of truth as his murder case continues. Lennox Sangre, KTN.
That was a very blood-wrenching story, bro. That is very unfortunate that someone had to die like that, manze. All because of pure jealousy. Mi nakwambia binadamu anakuanga na wivu ingine ya kimashetani. Wivu ingine ya kimashetani. Yenye tunasikianga tu. Mashetani.
Welcome back.
Now, this is another story that I saw that I wanted to share with you guys. So, car theft syndicate. Online cab drivers lured into car thefts by criminal posing as genuine clients. No, I'm not. I think we should continue with that. No. Inside Kenya's Siobado. Ini nani? Tumalizani tu nini ni ya magari kwanza. Let us finish nini ni ya magari. If you're enjoying the live, tafadhali make sure you hit the like button. Said kwa ngapi? How many likes are we right now? Tuko at 120 likes. Moving nicely. Tumebakisha 180. Yeah, boy. Nice. Thank you for liking the live. Mnani motivate sana. Yeah, we got 180 likes more to go for now. Okay, car theft syndicate. Online cab drivers lured into car thefts by criminal posing as genuine clients. Hey, Kenya, these Kenyas of ours.
Thank you for staying with TV47. Let's get to our special feature for the night. Now, what was meant to be a routine ride or car hire is increasingly turning into a violent trap, leading drivers injured, traumatized, and without their vehicles. Many of the drivers say criminals are disguising themselves as genuine clients only to ambush them, steal their cars, and abandon them in remote forested areas late at night. Now, TV47's Mudhoni Brenda spoke to some of the affected drivers and now reports on their harrowing experiences.
For online cab drivers across the country, what should be a routine ride has turned into a journey of fear of the unknown.
Hey, lakini watu hubo wanaona kazi. On one end ni wanawake wanakataa kulipa na ni walevi wanawapigana chupa. On the other end wanaume wanawaibia gari. Hey, na wote tu mnatafuta.
Meet John Maina, a Nairobi-based driver who recounts how thieves lured him into a trap before making away with his 16-seater van registration number KDS 169D.
I was seated hapa hivi nikapigiwa simu na mtu tu. Akaniita vizuri sana. Maina, ni aje kesho uko kazi?
Cheese.
Kaambia kesho siko kazi. Aliniita vizuri sana nikaona huyu ni mtu najua. So sikushinda nikimuuliza ni nani ama anything. Kesho uko kazi? Nikamwambia siko kazi. Kuna job iko hapa, watu wachukuliwa Kendall wanapelekwa Njoro.
After hours of bargaining, the clients who are all the way in Keno, Murang'a County sent a deposit to a car hire personnel. That payment signals a deal sealed.
Tatizo ikiwa mbakisha dakika 10 I was hapo. Nikawacall mara kadhaa wako wanashika, nikawacall mara kadhaa. Kitu saa 9 dakika 10 huyo kijana akashika. Wale watu walipiga sherehe sana jana. Watu wamelala late juu ya sherehe. Wacha nikutumie mtu akam, tunakuja. Wacha nikutumie mtu anakam hapo.
And true to the award, a man was sent to pick Maina. And not just any man, an elderly man. Maina tells us his presence gave a sense of trust, masking the danger that waited in the shadows.
Akam nimelock gari, nilikuwa nimepark tu nje ya OJ, literally nje ya OJ kwa entrance. Ni asubuhi, gari zilikuwa hapo, nikaa gari 2-3. Akam akaingia, kaanza kupiga kelele, venye hao waliagri saa 9 watakuwa hapa. Saa hii ni saa 9:15 hakuna mwenye amefika. Mzee alikuwa amejam.
Kabe juice.
Kapiga masimu. Sasa tukua kuji wapi? Nyinyi mko ready? Na watoto wako ready? Sawa, acha tukuje. Akaniambia dereva, unaona hapo tu opposite OJ kuna barabara kalami kameingilia hapo. Twende hapo tuchukue hawa hapo. Kuingia nikaona majama 4 wamechomoka mahali like ni kama kwa gate, ni kama kwa boma wametokea mahali. Mzee tena akaanza kelele. Ona hawa wameacha watoto, wameacha mabibi. Ana rant, ana complain ndi mzee tu unaona huyu wako hii safari kwanza. Huyu mzee hata watu wakiingia kwa gari utaka huko nyuma. Wako 4. Na wale bags mmoja akachukua hizo bag 2 akakamsaidia yangu. Hao wengine wakaenda hii side. Mimi gari yangu yako lock mlango always na kioo inakanga hapa juu. So wenye alikuja akanigongea kioo nikamteremshia kioo. Ananiambia naje hizi bags unaweza niwekea kwa boots kwa sababu hawakuja na hizo machondo zao.
Kenya ni akili.
Hatutapata mahali pa kuweka bag na mimi sitaki kubeba Ananiambia kama unifungulie tafadhali. So mimi ku unlock gari, kufungua tu mlango, kusukuma mlango tu na elbow. Kidogo tu, hiyo gari ni manual. Kusukuma tu kidogo hivi nilistukia mzae ameruka. Mimi nilikuwa namsikia akinikanyaga huku chini. Kwenda kuangalia mzae ni nini, si nimefungua mlango kidogo. Huyu na yeye mwenye alikuwa ananiambia nifungulie mlango akashika funguo. Nimeteremsha kioo akashika funguo. Then hawa watatu wenye walikuwa wameenda nisione mpaka washafungua sliding door. Mmoja alikuwa ashazunguka, ashasimama hapa kwa mlango. Akaniekelea a very long sword. Aliwekelea hapa ikasimamia. So nikakaa hivi. Akaniambia cooperate ama tumaliziane hapa. Kisho gari nikazungushwa nyuma ya gari. Ananiambia tu ukibehave sisi hatuna mambo na wewe, behave tu. Hatuna mambo na wewe. Tukaenda tukaingia kwa gari, mlango ikafunguliwa, nikakalishwa hiyo kiti ya nyuma ya driver. Then mzae akaingia mwisho kabisa. Mimi nikakalishwa katikati, mwingine akakaa hapo, mmoja akakaa kwa driver, mwingine hapo kwa passenger na mwingine akasimama na nyuma ya kiti. So mimi nikalalishwa chini. Nikalalia mguu yangu ikakuwa kwa lap ya mzae, huyu mwingine ako ile side ya nyuma na mwingine hapo. Wakatoa zile ziplocks. Unaitangwaje? Tie wraps. Yeah, wakaanza kunifunga na tie wraps. Huyu mwenye anaendesha gari ndo anapeana orders. Anza step 1, get information. So akaanza kugeuza gari, anza hii gari kuna traka ngapi? Mimi nikamwambia mimi sijui hata. Kageuza gari, sasa maswali wanaenda wakiuliza niko na watoto wangapi? Nikamwambia niko na watoto 2, 7 years na 2 years.
Nice.
Huyu mzee alikuwa arrogant sana, ananiambia wewe hata ukidedi hata watoto wakujui hata hawezi kukumbuka by the time wana grow up. Wewe you are not a loss. Yeah, alafu nikiulizwa swali nikienda kumjibu mzee alikuwa ananichunanisha kwa hata nilikuwa nimejaa marks huku za kucha. Then tukaenda tukafika mahali nikasikia tumeingia kwa corrugation, tuwakasimamisha nikashukishwa, Kaanza kuna ndirukaruke, nikarukaruka kidogo, wakaninua, wakanila
kangaroo.
Alisha like 5 meters ama 10 away from the vehicle. Na nikaamboni face the other side nikalalishwa. Hapa hivi nadhani sasa step 3 hao ni kutoa sama battery na nini. Akatoa battery, then kuna kabip pan nilikuwa nasikia kakibip bip sijui nini ilikuwa na bip. But I think walikuwa watafuta trackers. Mzee akanikalisha chini, akanifungua hiyo jacket yangu kidogo. Mbona hapa chini hii ni maji, hii ni dam, hapa chini kuna kuoga na crocodiles. Hapa mahali kuko wananipindua hivi. So kunipindua hivi ndio nikaona hii ni shamba ya mananasi. Tuko kwa shamba na uone mwisho una watu giza. Sisi tunakuacha hapa, hatuna noma na wewe. Tunakuacha hapa, wewe na Mungu wako venye mmekuwa mkiishi, yeye ndio atadecide kama utatoka hapa hai ama utatoka. Nikaanza kusikia ule wako kwa gari wameanza kushout, toshi, 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 touch, 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 touch. Na Kikuyu. Wakapanic. Mzee ndio amebaki na mimi. Mzee anajaribu kuniinua, amelemewa kabisa. Anajaribu kunivuruta chini, amelemewa kabisa. Walikuwa wanaitana Shifu. Shifu jeshi, Shifu kamwatika, mmemwacha, kujeni. Ndio sasa wengine wawili wakashuka wakakamsa wakiwa watatu haraka wakaniinua, wakanirusha kwa gari. There is a time jacket yangu ilinuka, nikaona pale kuna matochi zinakam around 100 meters ama labda 150. Naona kuna tochi zinakam, unaona mbio tochi kama 3 hivi. Nilikuwa nishaona wale security, so nilijaribu kujirusha nje kwa sababu wako wamefunga mlango. Ule mzae tu ndio alinishikilia akanivuruta ndani. Mlango ikafungwa. Dereva sasa akapiga simu. Akasema akapeana story. Anaongea na Kikuyu, akapeana story, tumepata huko na nadhani hao ni security guards wametukujia, imebidi tumehipa. Tumeweza kutokea. Tuko kwa lami. Sawa. Wengine wanamzaa Kikuyu, amesemaje? Amesema tuache mzigo kwa sungura, gari tuipeleke kwa kinyumba. So definitely mimi ndio mzigo. Bado walinifungua trouser, wakaniteremsha, wananithreaten venye watani rape. Wawili wakakam, wakaniambia ni aje? Wewe uko na watu hii na unashughulikia watu wako, venye ukatuma pema saa 8 ukaomba Mungu siku yako ikuwe poa na ukam home na kitu kidogo. Hata sisi hivyo ndio tuliomba asubuhi.
Such a Kenyan thing to say. You know, that's as Kenyan as it gets, Evo. That is as Kenyan as it gets. Evo. Mtu anakuibia lakini atasema hata sisi tuliomba Mungu tukaka kwa nyumba tukuibie. Jokers.
Basi sisi hatuna noma na wewe. Si hapa tunakuacha vizuri sana. Hata the time tu aliingia kwa gari tu venye tulianza kumove, mimi nilikaa chini, nikatoa hiyo jackets, nikateremsha hizi tie wraps zote zikateremka za mguu, nikaweza kutoa za mkono zilikuwa zimefungiwa hapa. Nikaanza kutembea, nasikia magari zinapita, so nikajua siko mbali na barabara, nikatokea hapo kwa barabara, then nikaanza kusimamisha magari. Anzia hakuna gari inasimama. Nikajaribu kusimamisha magari, nikiwa natembea hivyo tu nikaona ka lights, ka signboard kama waka. Nikajua hata sisimamishi mtu mwingine pale. Kufika hapo nikaona Pioneer Girls. Pioneer Girls hata sijui miko wapi. Sasa hizo, so I don't know where I am. Nikasheketi, security akatokea, jamaa mpoa sana. Huyo jamaa alinisaidia. Akafungua gate haraka, akataita, akanifungua ita ni akaivuruta ikaanguka hapa kwa shingo. Nikamwambia hebu nipe simu kwanza. Akanipea simu. Nilikuwa apigia kwa sababu najua anaweza msaidia Kenol Police Station. Akapiga Kenol Police Station, akapigia OCS, ni rafiki ya OCS. Kupigia OCS na akampatia namba ya security. So sasa after sasa hizo ilikuwa kitu saa 9 na saa 10:28 asubuhi. Hiyo ni almost 1 hour and around 30 minutes since nipatana na ule mzee. So 1 hour and labda 1 hour 20 minutes. OCS wa Kenol akanipigia. Uko wapi? Nikamwambia niko Pioneer School. Kumeendaje? Nikamuelezea vile kumeenda, akaniambia acha nitume gari na kukujia, usitoke hapo, gari na kukujia. Hata 6 nadhani nilikuwa nimefika. Ama some minutes to 6. Inspector akanipigia. Ni aje? Itabidi umefind your way to Kenol. Imagine from 4:30. Kapata mtu akantumia 1500. Akantumia tu kwa namba ya security. Fika Kenol nikapata OCS amefika, inspector amefika. Na kuna polisi mwingine mmoja alikuwa hapo amevaa uniform hizi zinakaa za jeshi. Kaka hapo nikawapigia story kwa ofisi ya OCS, nikawapigia. Ananiambia so umeingia jurisdiction ya Kandara. So hii kesi yako
YG wapi huko?
Ni mpaka DCIO Kandara. Mpaka Kandara. Kufika Kandara DCIO. So wewe sasa chukua enda tena Kabati police station, go report to Kabati police station, wakupatie OB number fresh and then kuje. Ndio chukue kesi. Nikawaambia tena si gari naenda tu. Wakaniambia there is no way we can help you. Hapa hakuna vile tunaweza kusaidia, lazima ukimbie Kabati police station report then come. Tangu kutoka Saudi natumia matatu, sina do hata ya kulipa hizo huko hakuna Uber, tunaweza chukua Uber. Kutokea tena kutafuta matatu na nduthi tena ndio ningangane tena mpaka Kabati. Kufika Kabati ni saa 9 inaelekea saa 8 huko. Nikareport Kabati nikawapigia story yote. Nikamwambia lakini wale wa OJ Kenol waliniambia wali circulate. Kaniambia kwa system yao hawajaona kitu. Haja circulate hiyo gari. Kama mimi swali waliniambia wame circulate. Usiesa aliniambia ame circulate. Akaniambia usiesa haja circulate kitu. Sasa nikashindwa tena hii mambo gani. So sasa hawa
nice. Thank you from Meru.
Wakanipatia OB number. Sasa hawa ndio wali circulate gari sasa.
Ndio
saa 9.
The same ordeal met Nicholas Mwangi, an online driver who operates in Nairobi.
It was on Sunday, 9th November. Nikiwa kwa kazi kama kawaida masaa jioni, allowed 9.
Sorry. There's something I need to show you guys. Kuna story nyingine hapa nimeona inanifurahisha. Cha kwanza tuone mafurumbanya. Tumesikiza story sad sana. Staki.
When you have the perfect response in your head, but your fingers just can't keep up. We've all been there. Typing, deleting, retyping.
Sorry.
Now I use Whisperflow.
Sasa nyinyi mnaona advert inakata kutoa. Now, I need to say something. The reason I want to show you this video